Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, right here live from the UDL. Brought to you daily by Geaux Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. It's where you can find the guys over there at Geaux Chevrolet. They're located in LaPlace, Louisiana. They also have a used car lot right here in Baton Rouge on the corner of Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. Go Express Auto Sales. Great selections over there. Everything online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. We'll talk a ton of college football today, as we will talk about some of the plays with Megan Making Money coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning. 8:30. Megan Making Money will be here at 8 a.m. Jake Crain from the J-Boy Show. A lot of new announcements happening over there with Jake. Some NIL deals that he inked yesterday, including one with Todd Harris, safety from LSU, a couple of student athletes from around the SEC. Now a part of the J-Boy Show. We'll ask him about some of those negotiations. We'll also get his thoughts on week one. J-Boy has got Georgia winning the national championship in the preseason. That's a good start for the Dogs, as they are 1-0.
Offense was suspect.
Beating Clemson. It was suspect.
Not the defense.
The defense is not.
is nasty.
7 sacks.
Nasty.
Unga Galele? DJ is having nightmares about...
DJ 3. DJ 5.
Is that it?
DJ
Is it DJ 5?
DJ U.
Is having nightmares about the silver britches, as they call them over there in Athens, Georgia. His uniforms look pretty nice. I'm a fan of the...
Timeless.
Kind of sneaky fan of Georgia's unis.
Yeah. I think
Crisp look.
All of the SEC has great uniforms.
Yeah.
Auburn and LSU's are very similar, but I like both of them.
I love Auburn.
Florida's are great.
Love Auburn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like LSU is just different colors.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a sneaky good uniform.
The helmet for Auburn and LSU throws it over the top.
Yes.
Coming up today, we'll talk to Josh Pate. He is at Late Kick Josh. If you're not keeping up with his updates over on YouTube, you need to. He is great at breaking down college football, the week, the SEC. We'll talk to him about all of it coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. The NFL gets going tonight. Tampa Bay and Dallas going to square off tonight in Tampa Bay with the champs hosting the Cowboys. Brady and the Bucks teeing it up tonight for Game 1, Week 1 of the NFL season. We'll talk a little bit about that with Megan Making Money coming up here at 8:30 this morning. See who she likes heading into the NFL season. Of course, she's a part of Barstool Sports. It's good to be with you here on this Thursday morning. Incredible that it's Thursday here. We wake up on this Thursday. It's nuts. These weeks are flying by.
Imagine if you had Labor Day off. How quick this would feel.
Sheesh. I mean, we doubled up this week, too. We did a Sunday night show.
Sunday night, Monday morning.
Even though the Sunday night space is a good fit, boys.
Oh, dude, I'm all over it.
We're there. You can count on us being back with you on Sunday nights for sure in the short term. Rohan and obviously Micah Davey playing this weekend over at LSU. Of course, he's a McNeese freshman linebacker. Stick around post-game this week. Little Jay and I are going to bounce over to the game for at least a half. Go check it out. See what the tailgating scene is like, what the in-game experience is like. We'll be back over here midway, somewhere around the third quarter, and then we'll have a post-game edition of a wrap-up show for you. Kind of a whiskey and wine type format.
What time do you leave the games to start those things?
At halftime.
Okay, half?
Yeah, just to play it super safe.
Okay.
A game like McNeese, you can probably be a little bit more risky. I doubt that there'll be as many asses in the seats.
Yeah.
After the first quarter.
I wonder how I'm going to get here. I'm trying to figure out what my plan is.
Are you leaving from the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Safest play is probably halftime. But you can kind of judge it. Here's the deal. We want to be live as soon as the clock strikes zero.
Right.
As soon as it goes zero, we want to be live.
I wonder for no, because I'm not going to drive to the game, so I'm thinking do
so don't screw it up, Louie.
Uber.
No,
I'm not. But I'm planning it right now. It's Thursday, and I'm already planning it.
Sheesh.
I thought Noah was going to do it.
No, Noah's going to be in the game.
Playing?
He's covering it.
Going to be a left tackle.
Well, there's an open spot there.
He can play any position you want at this
after
point.
Ed Ingram's comments last night, there might be an open spot at the left guard. I mean, is anybody on the same page in LSU football? I mean, I'm looking at some of the comments from the players yesterday, and I got to be thinking out loud. I mean, do they know they're saying this into the public? Do the coaches know that they're speaking?
Permission to speak freely, sir.
I mean, my goodness, Liam Shanahan and Ed Ingram just letting you know, man, hey, you know what? A lot of the stuff that we saw on Saturday, we weren't prepared for. They give you exactly what Liam Shanahan said yesterday. They did some stuff that we weren't 100% prepared for. Ed Ingram says a lot of mental errors during the game. At times, we didn't know what to do or we didn't block the right person. There were a lot of mental errors during the game. There were times that we didn't know what to do or how to block the right person, as we said. We also have to help the quarterback out with protection calls when we know it should be turned. Ed Ingram was asked about camp injuries impacting the start of the season, and he was quoted in saying yesterday, "I really don't know. Could have played some part in it. I don't think it played a direct part in it. At the end of the day, we've got to move the ball, get our double teams together, and focus on our technique. I think a lot of us were tired and out of shape." I mean, even if they feel like that, right? I mean, there is like a standard protocol within the program, like, yo, boys, look, we're talking about this behind closed doors, but make sure this stuff doesn't get out into the public. I mean, this is stuff that goes into the face of a lot of what we've talked about and wondered about in how engaged and how bought in is Ed Orgeron. Really? I mean, I think it's a fair question after listening to some of the comments made by his players on Wednesday, and even a degree of some of the things that he said last night. You're never going to get true transparency on a coach's radio show, especially when the program that is at the center of it is dealing with a lot of the issues that LSU is dealing with. A lot of uncertainty from the fan base, a lot of distrust between the coaching staff and the fan base. There were people probably frothing at the mouth last night to get in to the Ed Orgeron show. Now, I have worked for the LSU Sports Radio Network, and I have been the call screener for the Les Miles show during days and times when he was public enemy number one for Baton Rouge, for LSU fans, for the state of Louisiana. And a lot of times in those scenarios, they'll just plant the callers, right? They'll just have people within the network lined up on calls, so there's no opportunity for like any riffraff, no uncomfortable situations where you got somebody calling out a coach on live radio at TJ Ribbs, sitting right in the middle of the city with purple and gold fans sitting all around you. I mean, it's a very it's a very fan-friendly environment, a radio show, a coach's radio show. But when the team is performing like LSU did on Saturday night, and then you hear some of the comments that were made yesterday by the players, there's an obvious disconnect between the message or the messenger and the people that are receiving the message. There's some type of fracture that is existing between the head coach and his team. It seems like just from public comments. I don't know anything behind closed doors. I don't have any type of inside information. I'm just taking what we were allowed to see and hear over the last 24 hours and giving my analysis on that. I mean, am I the only one that when I read and saw and heard Shanahan's and Ingram's comments, I mean, my eyebrows were just raised. I mean, like, wow, that is some honest feedback from a team that publicly is going through some serious struggles.
Turmoil.
And to have that coming out from some of your leaders, I mean, Shanahan and Ingram are a couple of seniors. I mean, Shanahan's a super senior in the program. Ingram's been there for a while. And for them to feel like they can say that first, right? Like, we can even say this shows, I mean, the disrespect that really I'm talking about, because, I mean, you would think that they would just, from a respect standpoint, keep that stuff in-house. I mean, there's a lot of coach speak. There's a lot of canned answers that you can give in those settings, and we've heard it a million times.
Well, they go through that media training with, the
Tommy Karam
every offseason, and by all intents, they've had them buttoned up every time they've gone through that, so they know that what they can say and what they can't say. And this is certainly, I would imagine, on the list of things they can't say. Like, this would be, don't give your opinion publicly. And for them to be able to go out there and speak the way that they have, and I think it's kind of refreshing for the fan base, I'd imagine, because we got a lot, like you said,
like
you get
a
a lot.
genuine answer.
Yeah, you get a lot of canned answers from Coach O, and these are the things that you would want. I mean, these are things that you can obviously see, but for them to go this far with it is unbelievable. A little bit.
It is. I mean, especially in today's media world where everything is picked up, everything is evaluated, everything is analyzed, everything is in people's face. I mean, as Ed Ingram and Liam Shanahan made those comments yesterday at 2 o'clock, they were on Twitter at 2:10. You know what I mean? I mean, as soon as they said them, they were live.
I mean, if you're in that Zoom meeting, you have to be like, oh my God, I can't
Definitely.
who's going to
get this out fast enough?
Who can type the fastest
I mean,
in the
like,
room?
I was just envisioning Jacques, Shea. I mean, some of the P's just
Oh, it's on.
get this out, man. Even if you spell a word wrong, get it out. We can go back and edit it. I mean, this is amazing. This is just, look, I don't want to blow it up, and I don't want to make it bigger than it is, but
it's something.
It is something to hear guys, veterans, experienced guys, leaders in the locker room speaking as openly of being unprepared in week one as I've ever heard. Ever. I mean, I've never, just like I said on Saturday or Sunday night, and went back and tried to find, I actually went through YouTube and Google on back and forth between coaches and fans, pregame, back and forth. But I mean, you never saw what you've seen from walking in the game on Saturday, where not only does the fan who just says, if you go back and listen to it, he says, lock the gates and we're gonna beat you today. Something to that effect. I mean, he didn't even cuss at him. To get O's attention, first and foremost, was wow. And second, for him to go back, like say something back to the fan, you never see that. You never really hear that. And same goes for what some of the comments were from yesterday. I don't want to blow it up to where it's bigger than it is, but if you look at those comments and you read between the lines, it is evident that the coaching staff, the players, the program are on different pages. They're not aligned. They're not together, just from a public standpoint. If you've got a different evaluation of it, I'd love to hear it. We're open inside of the Bunker chat app. You can find us there inside of the Bunker on YouTube or on Facebook. Yes. And you can get in touch with us emailing, direct messaging, any way that you see fit. Get in touch with us with any type of thought that you may have. Brian Burgess says the media does throw softball questions to Orgeron. I think you saw last night, even if you try to get Orgeron on a question that he may not agree with, or even Michael Bonnet and his staff may be get a little annoyed from asking, is that I mean he's got the canned answers for those types of. I mean, it sounded like last night that everything's been fixed in the last 2 days.
Yeah,
right?
It's unbelievable. You had
that's
6 months to fix everything. It actually took a week.
But then you see some of the images coming out from practice yesterday where he's trying to pull his hair out of his head because they can't go through a drill where he likes the intensity. And I mean, he had a temper tantrum yesterday on the field. He had a session yesterday that Michael Cobble caught that, I mean, he's in a bad place. You know what I mean? Like, to stir up that type of emotion where you've got red face, you're puffing at the mouth, you're breathing through your teeth, you're trying to pull the hair out of your head, and you're stomping your feet going back and forth. I thought, look, this guy is melting.
He's lost it.
He's melting down in the face of everything that's happening in and around the program.
This is him feeling the pressure. You're watching him feel, and he says he stays off of the internet and everything, that he doesn't look at the Twitter machine. But this is evident that he knows, like that what you saw in video is very evident that he knows those walls are closing in around him, and that this team has to almost play perfectly throughout the rest of the year for him to keep his job. Like, it feels like it just hit him yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday at practice, when we got out there, the first thing you see is Coach O walking over to the offensive group. It was mostly offense, and yelling and hyping him up before practice, and that was the first time we'd really seen him get vocal at any of the practices we'd been to. And so it kind of had a feel that
we're about to ramp this thing up a little bit.
He's gonna have to start changing something. And and he did that.
It also looks like he's spent in the second week of the season.
Yeah,
it looks like he's gassed.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? It looks as if he is.
Well, they had to restart practice yesterday. They didn't like the intensity of it, which is, I mean, if we can't get this right the first time, do y'all not know what we're playing for here? You're all playing for me at this point. Like, the people are out here. We have media here. We need to have one of the biggest. They haven't been out here in, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
They haven't been able to see LSU practice. So I'd imagine there's like, all right, let's come out with a little bit of fire, a little bit of juice. You know, we've already had this talk in the locker room. Then they came out sluggish. He had to run the whole thing back, start it over. So I guess this is him coaching, maybe? Finally?
No. I think that he's always coached him up. I think that there's been, at some point, his message stopped hitting the locker room. It stopped making an impact on the players. They have almost, it seems like, from just outside looking in, drowned him out. And I'm looking at what the players said yesterday. I mean, for Liam Shanahan and Ed Ingram, two guys that are experienced with the media, they've been in front of the microphone now for a couple of years. And them think that it's okay to voice that, knowing that if you say out loud that we saw some things on Saturday that we just weren't prepared for, or that we are tired and out of shape, to say that into the public, you have to know that there's going to be some type of backlash that comes along with that.
Especially here.
Exactly. Like, especially in this setting, in this environment. And where the temperature is right now, specifically. To voice that was telling, man. I thought that was a clear, just open scope into the program and into the locker room on just how far apart everybody seems to be. Those are two of your leaders. Those are two guys that you look at and you say, hey, we're sending you guys out to media availability today, and you've got to protect the program. You've got to protect the message.
Maybe they are.
Possibly. But it's...
It just feels like that. Like they were like, I'm kind of tired of hearing the bullshit. Like, I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'll deal with this later. But it feels like they wanted to get their message out there because they want the fans to know that, look, whatever the message you're getting sold a bill of goods here, because we weren't ready and we're out of shape.
Right.
Like, these are things that shouldn't be storylines in week 2 to be like, essentially, we're not ready to play. That's what it sounded like to me. It's like, we weren't ready to play.
Well, that's what they said.
It's just unbelievable. Like,
that's exactly
to go
what they
that
said.
far. It's like, we don't know what we're doing.
Exactly. I mean, that's conversations that you can have with guys off the record. And I've had conversations with guys off the record where they'll tell you, hey, man, we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
We got lucky.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were looking at. You know what I mean? Like, we just made a play. Or we weren't prepared. You know, but, I mean, on the record, they'll say, look, we had a good week of practice. It surprised us. We saw some things that we didn't see on film. And, you know, we just got to get that stuff right. We'll be ready to play next week. I mean, it's easy to navigate through that stuff. I mean, you can say things almost without saying things, right? I mean, you can kind of take away from somebody like, oh, okay, I can kind of see where he wanted to go in and almost say that they weren't ready to play.
Right.
So you can kind of take away from that he's saying, we weren't prepared. Ed Ingram came out and told you yesterday, we weren't ready to play. Liam Shanahan told you we saw stuff that we weren't ready to get into. I spoke to a staffer yesterday, somebody on the LSU staff, that says they went back and evaluated the UCLA LSU game, and that UCLA incorporated the same offensive game plan that LSU used against LSU in the spring. They looked at the spring game and looked at UCLA's attack, and they were playing the same offense that LSU was playing against LSU on the SEC network in the middle of March, because they were just playing man-to-man. They weren't playing any zone. They were playing man, and they were running crossers, and they were just singling guys up. You had no Derek Stingley. You had no Eli Ricks. You had a couple of guys out there that were second and third teamers that were trying to guard guys that were running just kind of open and free. And somebody told me yesterday within LSU's staff that they watched the film, and UCLA, all they did was take the same offensive game plan that LSU ran against LSU 4 months ago, put it into play, and beat LSU's ass.
So you're saying Jake Pete's good coordinator? Drew up a hell of a game plan to beat LSU.
I'm saying unprepared.
Yes.
All around. I'm saying that if somebody within the staff is saying, bro, they took our game plan and beat us with it, and we never adjusted. We couldn't figure it out.
And it's our offense.
And it was what we were doing against ourselves.
So embarrassing.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, the more you learn, the more you kind of dig in, the more you're like,
the layers to this onion.
What's going on? What's going on here? What's going on here? One from Little J. We got a basketball here.
Oh, there's one in the corner.
Yeah? I think he's bailing on us.
Oh. I mean, what would you shoot again? He's 1 for 1. Cold-blooded.
You're right. So we're going to talk to... Okay. You want some more? You want some more? You want some more? What's up, bro? More. Get in the spot where the camera can see you, bro, this morning.
We got 2 cameras this time. We're ready either
remember,
way.
we are brought to you daily here by Falaya Real Estate. Get over here, bro, so we can see you.
There we go. Here we go.
Square it up.
Square it up. Oh, give it a little change.
One
We go
time?
3, 2, 1. Oh!
Have a good day at school, bro.
Don't take that with
hair
you.
looks a little rough. Yeah?
Little bedhead.
Little bedhead.
Oh, can't hit on a miss. Can't hit on a miss.
Have a good day, boy. Love you. Love you, Ma.
Harper's
250. Who we giving 250 to? Brian Burgess. Wow, Brian Burgess. Does T-Bob and Jacob know that you're cheating on them?
Oh, welcome to the show.
$250 for you, Brian Burgess, over at Harper's. Sam, go see Sam today. Sam Willard over at Harper's Haberdashery. He is in the Highland Road Shopping Center, right there next to French Market Bistro. Stop in and tell him that you won $250. Compliments of Little J on the fadeaway as he heads off to school today. And it's good to see you, Brian. It's been a while, buddy. Sam Kim, Ogeron has 11 games to make this right. You think that, Sam? I mean, really? The more and more I listen, the more and more I watch, the more and more I pay attention to LSU's football program. It seems like the head coach is a lame duck. It seems as if this thing is going into the second week of the season and it can't end fast enough. You know what I mean? Like, for the coach, not for the fans. I mean, I was reading somewhere up top where somebody says he looks spent and it's only week 2. I agree. He looks gassed. Even the picture of him and the female on Friday, I was thinking to myself, damn, he looks a little rough.
Well, probably had a late night.
You would think.
I would hope.
I mean, but it just, I don't know, man. After hearing those comments yesterday, Noah was at the radio show last night representing the show, and he'll be there Saturday at the game representing us. It just seems like there's a huge disconnect, man. And I'm not here to start controversy, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to be a shock jock. I'm not trying to push. No, I'm not trying to. I'm just taking what I see, and I'm telling you how I evaluate it. And it seems that the more and more you dig in, the more and more you don't even really have to do a lot of research. I mean, if you're skimming through Twitter yesterday and you see that 2 of LSU's offensive linemen are out in the public saying, we were unprepared. We just weren't ready to play. That's got to be alarming, man, for people that are within that industry, within that company, within LSU athletics, thinking to themselves, man, I mean, after an offseason of personnel turnover and getting a new roster almost put in place and changing coaching staff and 2 new coordinators and spending a lot of money in bringing people in and bringing in new guys like Bo Lowry, the doctor who is now in place at LSU. I mean, it just seems like a broken ship
Right, and then he tries to patch it with the new offensive line hire, but it seems like the hire happened too late. Because if you dig through some of their comments, they were saying, we're being taught two different ways to play the position, and it's a little late to try to learn a new way now. It's a little late to learn new technique whenever we've been taught this way for 3 years. You hire a new coach, a month before the season, 2 months before the season, and you get a limited amount of practice with Brad Davis, and he's going to teach it his way. And so now you have conflict on the offensive line of how to step, how to pass block, how to key on different people. All of the things that you do are now different, and then you don't get a real feel for it until week one. And it shows that there's still old ways in there coming out, new ways coming in.
Yeah.
And it's just a disconnect.
A lot of people are reacting to Scott Woodward being at practice yesterday. I can tell you that we were out there for a lot of preseason camp, or at least the days that were allotted, and he is routinely there. In fact, I would tell you this about Scott Woodward. There's a lot of the coaches on campus outside of football would tell you that, they deal with different personnel up at the athletic department. Scott Woodward really is invested into his football program. And when I say invested, he is there every day. He's in the building every single day. He's talking to somebody within that organization every single day. I've talked to recruits that have said he has been in meetings, recruit meetings, when they're either on official visits, unofficial visits. The point of the story is he understands what the football program means to the university and to the state of Louisiana, and he is going to make sure that it is running at its premium clip every single day. And all you have to do is look at Scott Woodward's past, whether it be early on working at LSU under Mark Emmert and Nick Saban, or going up to Washington and running their athletic department, or moving on to Texas A&M and his athletic and that athletic department. He's got a standard for the football program, and that standard has been taught to him by leadership on universities' campuses, at universities, specifically by Mark Emmert, on how important the football program means to the overall functionality of the institution. Not just the athletic programs, not just the athletic department, but the entire university, and you can even spin it into the state. That when it's successful and people are bought in, think about 2019 around here, about how everybody was bound together by one team. Now think about where we are as far as a support group goes for our flagship university. Everybody is splintered. Scott Woodward understands what the football program has to look like, feel like, and be run like for that type of buy-in to happen from the fan base. Chris Peterson at Washington, grand slam hire. Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, we can debate the numbers and the finances behind it, but up to this point, I would say it's a successful hire. That he's got Texas A&M now trending in the right direction as far as being competitive at the top of the league in the SEC in his fourth season there. And then he gets to LSU and he sees a 2019 season that may go down as the best of all time in the history of the sport. If it's not, it will be debated as sandwiched or bookend by a year in 2020 that was totally filled with discontent, now backed up in another season that is starting off almost worse than any point last year. I mean, the opening weekend for 2021 is as low as this program has felt, in my opinion, under Orgeron, and there were some sewer level points in 2020. I mean, there were some bottom dwelling spots for LSU football in 2020.
I think it feels that way because of what happened in 2020. We were like, oh no, this is how it's like. It's like PTSD. It's a very visceral flashback to what happened.
2020 had excuses. Like this time,
There's nothing.
You don't have anything.
You don't have any excuses, and it feels like because of what happened in 2020. When you look ahead to 2021 and what's happened, it's like, well, this feels exactly like what happened last year, but it could be worse because nothing's changed. So I think you'll be able to like pin those two together, and it just makes that's what makes 2021 almost feel worse right now.
Josh Pate is over at 247 Sports. He is on Twitter at Late Kick Josh. His YouTube updates at the end of the day are must watch. I'm telling you, if you are a college football fan, make sure that you subscribe, get alerts, and get set up for his late kick Josh stuff that happens over on YouTube. You can follow him there. Just follow him on Twitter, and you can keep up with everything. He's been here before, and we have him back again here on this Thursday morning. Josh, good morning. How are you, man?
I'm good, but I really need to know, scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it down there right now?
10
12.
being the worst?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go 13 or 14 at this point.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, good starting point. All right, let's talk about it.
I mean, look, you've got players yesterday, Ed Ingram and Liam Shanahan, two of your veteran offensive linemen, Shanahan starting center, Ingram starting left guard, that come out and say openly into the public, Josh, that they were not prepared to play on Saturday. Shanahan said they saw some things that they have not seen and weren't ready for. And then Ed Ingram says into the public yesterday in media availability that they may be out of shape and tired. I just, even if you feel like that within a program, you rarely see those comments hit the streets, especially from veterans. It seems as if this LSU program right now is splintered from the top into the locker room. I think that's probably at the baseline the issue that LSU is dealing with. But to see them play on Saturday night, what did you take away from it?
Well, it was ugly. And I'll tell you also, a lot of stuff when you hear it in the summer, it's just you take it for what it's worth. You know, I cannot tell you, and you guys know good and well this is the case, I cannot tell you how many times I've had folks telling me, oh, we've never had a better offseason. We've never had a better blah, blah, blah. And then you get in the season and you see, what you see. Well, on the other side, there have been times before where I've heard, ooh, man, things aren't always, things haven't been exactly from a chemistry standpoint the way we want to see them. And so-and-so's been trouble in the offseason. And then they, run the table undefeated. So you just learn to take that stuff for what it is. And so when I was told during the summer by, someone on that team that locker room was not in a good place still, I listened and I filed it away. And I said, well, you know what? If that's true, it won't take 6 games into the season to know if it's valid. We'll know against UCLA. Lo and behold, we watched the game, and the exact same problems that we saw last year and felt last year were on display. Because that's not one of those bounce of ball, -2 turnovers, freak occurrence losses. That's one of the losses that if you really want to diagnose the problems, stem all the way back to last year. And listen, when you've got respect for your organization, even if you knew you were unprepared, you don't let that stuff get out.
Right.
People know what they're doing, man. Like when words come out of your mouth in a press setting that you've been coached on how to act in, they're measured. And 9 times out of 10, they're measured. And so when guys are letting you know that, because they want to let you know that. And that is exactly what I would deduce from what you just said is, yeah, you got a splintered culture, and it looks like you want some people to know about it.
Yeah, it is overly concerning after week 1 to hear some of the messages coming out of the veteran leaders inside the locker room from LSU. When you see this, is it fixable, in your opinion?
I don't know. I don't know if it's fixable given the current structure there. But I'll tell you, I'd love for it to be fixable. So I don't speak, negatively just for the sake of being negative. But like if we break this down, like we just said, the problem's not a technique here and there. The problem's not just, lower level execution just needs to improve here and there. If it's systemic, and if your problem is intangible in nature, if your problem is more foundational and cultural, and you don't have the buy-in, what do you fix week 1 to week 2 or week 4 to week 6? What do you really fix? I don't know that if you didn't have that answer already, you find that answer during the season.
Yeah. Josh Pate is joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. If you have not found his work, make sure that you follow and subscribe to 247 Sports on YouTube. his recaps at the end of the day are the best. I'm telling you, you learn everything that you need to know, not only about the SEC, but about college football all in all. And make sure that you are following him on Twitter at LateKickJosh to keep up with the latest. Most impressive thing you saw last weekend, Alabama or Georgia?
It was Alabama. I was on the field for that Georgia game, though, so let me start with my number 2.
Okay.
I've never, ever, ever in a big game seen the kind of domination that they had on the line of scrimmage, a lot of times with 3 and 4 guys. And it was, I think, even a shock to the senses of Clemson's staff. And they know what they have, and they know what they don't have. It almost got to the point where I don't even know that the Clemson offensive line is the proper gauge to judge how dominant Georgia's defense can be. Now, think about that for a second, because it's not like we're talking about, Alcorn State. We're talking about Clemson ranked in the top 5, and we're talking about them posing so little a challenge along the offensive line that I say, well, wait till Georgia plays a better team. You're just not used to thinking that way about Clemson. But Georgia looked very good. But when I was at that game, sometimes when you're covering a game, you got other games on TV, so you'll glance over there. And I glanced over there about the time Derek King got knocked down 4th or 5th time already in the game. And I looked at the score, and I looked at the style of game that was unfolding, and I thought to myself, how disheartening must that be for other programs out here? We got Washington falling to Montana. I mean, we got LSU out on the West Coast losing. We got Oklahoma struggling to get by against Tulane, and there's Alabama against the top 20 team, drowning them just as they usually do. What fascinates me now is if you listen to Nick Saban this week, he already knows what's setting in up there, because everybody has heard what they're saying about him, and he's got some of his best ever sound that happens during the worst weeks, Mercer or Georgia Southern, but it's really everything that people laugh about with Saban and, taking a joking manner, even though he's serious, is what makes them what they are. You've got a guy irate over a 44-13 win and what people's attitudes are. And then you got people elsewhere who would literally give a limb or possibly 2 in some cases to just trade places with them.
That's so true. I think the Jaleel Billingsley story is another testament to his greatness. I mean, a lot of people in today's world, Billingsley, of course, a former 5-star tight end, going through some things off the field in Tuscaloosa that Saban is using playing time and football to discipline him with. And to see his dad come out and make a comment and saying, this is why we sent him to Alabama to play for this type of coach. And it seems like those types of personalities in today's world, they transfer. They leave a program and go play somewhere else. And you still see his coaching technique working in a day and age that overwhelmingly, that doesn't seem like that's the vibe in sports anymore.
Right. If you're receptive to it, that technique will always work.
I agree.
And what I've always thought is, yes, there is a prevailing mood in any generation, but there are always exceptions to that mood. And luckily, if you're Alabama or if you're LSU and you have things going right, or Texas A&M, you don't have to sign 400 kids a year. You got to go find 25 of them. And there are, in any given class, well over 25 exceptions to the rule out there that are also talented enough to play at a high level for you. But I remember there was a kid they had not too long ago named DJ Petway. Yeah. And Petway got in some trouble, and they actually had to send him off to JUCO. And Petway goes to JUCO, gets his life together. They bring him back, and he's playing on championship teams again when he comes back. And it was covered by the Alabama beat, but it wasn't a real national story. And I wish it would have been, because that's what redemption's about. But also with Jaleel Billingsley, man, when you're loaded enough that you can sit by far your best tight end and then put a former linebacker in his place that goes and scores 2 touchdowns, that's called depth.
Josh Pate, at LateKickJosh is where you follow him on Twitter. How good was Georgia? How fast was that defense from the field level?
They looked really good. I think their secondary, I think probably was even a little better and performed at a little higher level than they expected. But again, it would be fair if you were to come to me, like if I were to call you and say, Jordy, did you watch the game? And you said, yep. I said, man, what about that defense? If you were to tell me, they look great, Josh, but look, let's calm ourselves, because I don't really know how much that secondary got tested. You know, when you got about 0.75 seconds to throw the ball, secondary does not tend to get tested a whole lot. I mean, you got a guy running for his life and seeing ghosts after the first quarter. Secondary doesn't normally get tested. I still think secondary, and to an extent maybe the depth at outside linebacker, is something that is going to be something to watch with Georgia this year defensively. But absolutely, that front is going to render a lot of that irrelevant. There are only going to be a few offensive lines, and they're going to only be really a few teams that are able to somewhat neutralize that in order to test that secondary out. And that probably doesn't come for quite a while. You know, they're talking right now about JT Daniels and can he play this week or can he not? It would be fair to look at that schedule and say they've got enough backup quarterback talent to get them through the next several games. I mean, people say SEC schedule, and I've never believed in saying that. Say schedule and then tell me who you play. Because if you are playing a schedule where your next toughest games right now are going to be Auburn and then neutral site against Florida several weeks down the road, and then that's kind of it unless something else pops up, it's not exactly the murderer's row that Arkansas is playing this year, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So they looked really good. They were really, really encouraged because one of the hidden factors of that game was how there has been behind the scenes a little bit more whisper and a little bit more grumble as of late in the recruiting world about people needing to see results from Georgia. And I talked to some of our guys, and they said, I know America thinks Clemson needs this game more. No, Georgia needs the game more because if they don't win any of these big games, if they lose another one on a national stage, it all of a sudden becomes recruits getting tired of cotton candy and wanting some steak. Yeah. Quit selling me on future. Quit selling me on vision. You hadn't been here 2 years. You've been here 6 years now. I got to see you win big games because these other programs that have offered me, they're the ones beating you on those big stages. That's why they needed that one so much.
Did you see enough from JT Daniels to buy into the offense, to think that they could be competitive down the stretch against teams like Alabama if they faced them in Georgia?
No, absolutely not. But I do believe that they will be there. I do believe they'll be able to, but it certainly wouldn't have been because of watching that game. But I'll give them credit now. As much as I do believe that Georgia staff has bought in to overhauling that offense, maybe even as early as last year, and then whatever happened. I believe they're bought into it, but I also believe just because you walk into a game with a playbook with a certain number of plays on it or a play sheet with a certain number of plays on it doesn't mean you have to call every one of them. It's been one of the most fascinating and maddening things I've seen in the past is coaches will get into a game and they'll see it play out and the path to victory will be so clear. But because we practiced these plays this week, we got to run them, and then you end up turning the ball over and you lose a game. They had to have realized about probably half a quarter to a quarter in, unless we help them out, Clemson cannot score on us. So it does not behoove us. If their goal is to win this game, it doesn't behoove us to put the ball in the air 30 times. Now, having said that, what it probably does is it lowers expectation for Georgia's offense, and I still think when they get that receiver room back, I think they're going to be capable of doing a lot. I don't know that they're going to be on Bama's level, but they're going to be capable, I think, of still surprising some people offensively because I do think that offense is going to be good. And I think it's going to be improved through the air. I think it's going to look a little bit different than you've ever seen from Georgia. The question that we now have 11 weeks to figure out, really, is how far can they come? It's very rare that you have sort of the die cast this early in the year. But unless you have catastrophic injury out there, it looks like Alabama's the cream of the crop. And then you start asking yourself, all right, how much can Georgia get done? It's basically, here's the way I look at it. The way they ended 2019, humiliating loss, blowout loss to LSU in the SEC title game, which I think they played decently defensively. LSU just overwhelmed them eventually. Well, they left that year saying, boy, even when we play good defense, we can't match these offenses. Well, that was the end of 2019. Maybe that's the beginning of 2021. We got a dominant defense. Offense, now we are going to have to improve, or else if we get in that setting again, we're not going to be able to trade points because there's a certain level of offense out there that's going to score on us no matter how good our defense is.
Number 12, Oregon, is traveling to the Horseshoe this weekend to take on Ohio State. That seems to be the national game of the weekend that everybody's paying attention to. Does Texas and Arkansas grip you? If not, what are you watching this weekend?
No, Texas and Arkansas absolutely grips me. I watched KJ Jefferson last week. I actually put myself through the Arkansas-Rice game. And I watched KJ Jefferson, and look, when he runs the ball, better things happen for Arkansas. And if they're to win that game, which is only a 6.5-point spread, it's doable. I mean, Virginia Tech pulled off a game very similar to against North Carolina last week. If they are to pull off that game, I think they got to run him 15 times minimum. It needs to be an old Cam Newton special. And they can do that. It's also one of the first, it is the first opportunity for those Texas young players, including a first-time starter in Hudson Card, to get exposed to crowd noise at that level. So that's something I'm watching. Oregon's got to open things up, man.
Mm-hmm.
They have got to leverage the talent that they do now have at receiver. There are questions in the Ohio State secondary. You, as Oregon, don't know if you're going to have Thibodeau, your best player, maybe the best player in the nation. You got to go in that game knowing we have to have 30 minimum to win. And they don't coach like that normally. They don't call plays like that normally. But the game I'm going to be at is Iowa State, which has me fascinated and has all year. I think that'll be one of the best scenes in the entire year for college football, and one of those that makes you watch and just lose yourself in a Saturday and have a couldn't care less mentality about how it impacts the playoff, because that's okay. For a college football fan, it's okay to watch a game and not care about the playoff. That's kind of how the sport's supposed to be.
What's the end game on Matt Campbell? I'll get you out of here on this one. He turned down the Jets job in the offseason. What's his goal, in your opinion?
I think his goal is happiness, and which is easy to say because that's all of us. The question is, does he have it at Iowa State? Because that'll be one of the first times a guy has a limitless ceiling and just chooses happiness at a place that maybe you view or the public views as tier 3 or tier 4. But everybody is waiting for the Michigan job. That's what they're waiting on with Campbell. They're waiting to see what happens with the Michigan job, and then we'll fill in the blank.
Got you. Josh, you're the best, man. Loved your work. Thank you for starting this Thursday with us, and enjoy the college football weekend. We'll be checking in again soon.
Happy to do it, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right, man. See you. There is Josh Pate with Late Kick with Josh, which is a fantastic watch. Listen, if you're looking to get caught up on college football, if you're looking for the latest and some really good takes. He's got really good relationships. He's obviously tied in to a lot of the schools around the conference, around the country. As you heard there, he'll be over at Iowa and Iowa State this weekend, which sets up to be it's a pretty down slate of football games, of college football this weekend. Obviously, with the NFL opening up tonight, Tampa Bay, the world champs, hosting the Dallas Cowboys, there will be a lot of eyeballs on the NFL game as well. But if you're just looking at the college game, we mentioned Oregon and Ohio State. That game will kick off at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning from the Horseshoe, which is 2 top 15 teams. The Ducks, of course, number 12. Ohio State, 2 or 3, no matter the service that you look in, but right there in the top 3 of college football. Should be the game of the weekend. Just when you're talking about the national draw, Iowa State will pull some eyeballs. And as far as the conference goes, Texas and Arkansas, being aligned with the SEC, Texas coming down the line, looks as if that will be at least the most intriguing game from the Southeastern Conference standpoint.
Yeah, I'd imagine. But if you're an LSU fan, it's almost all eyes on McNeese. This would be one of the weekends where you could kind of bounce around channels if you wanted to, or you could. I do like Ohio State, Oregon beat in the morning, just because great way to start your day. You get one of the premier games that could easily be a 7 p.m. kick.
Oh, sure.
And
that could be a game day type
That's what
setting.
I'm saying. I thought that they would go there, but Iowa State makes a lot of sense in terms of just what it's going to look like on the camera, because it is going to be a madhouse. Both those teams are looking ahead last week. They almost got beat.
Yeah.
And so you can tell that they're looking ahead to this little clash. But if you're an LSU fan, I don't know how you have eyeballs anywhere else but LSU McNeese when this should be a let's see what else is on game. But I feel like everybody's going to be locked on and being this game's going to be under a magnifying glass. People that don't normally watch it the way, kind of sit back, relax, watch the game, they're going to be up in the TV going, is that a 3-4, 4-3? What are we doing here? They're going to be scrutinizing every play call to make sure something looks different.
Well, you'll see a lot of new faces too, right? I mean, you're going to see some guys get opportunities. When he mentioned the list yesterday that's not going to be active, I mean, a couple of offensive linemen, big week for a guy like Xavier Hill, who will be getting the start. I mean, some of these guys that you rarely hear their names, with Ed Ingram being out, Austin Deculus being out, not Ingram, I'm sorry, Deculus and Cam Wire, your 2 tackles, being out this week.
Well, I was going to say that's probably why Ed Ingram and Liam Shanahan felt they had permission to speak freely.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because where you get a turn, you can't suspend me, you can't do anything.
Right. What are you going to
do? We stink.
Yeah, bench me.
Bench me. You go in.
Yeah,
Edwin, strap it on.
Johnson and Spillers is our dentist here on the Jordy Culotta Show. They are skilled and experienced in all facets of general and cosmetic dentistry. Dr. Jim Johnson and Dr. Chad Spillers offer a comprehensive range of services designed to serve the dental needs of every member of your family. So if you need some pediatric dental work done, they can help you out with the kids. You can find them online, JawsawSpillers.com. They are also located in Gonzales on Prepara Avenue. They're located in Baton Rouge on Perkins Road, in between Segan and Bluebonnet. So easy to find. Our dentist here on the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Chad Spillers and Dr. Jim Jawsaw. Check them out online at JawsawSpillers.com. JawsawSpillers.com. You can also hit them up on social media, as they've got great work over in social media. If you're looking for a dentist in Gonzales who can provide high quality and affordable dental care that will meet the needs of every member of your family, get in touch with Jawsaw and Spiller today. Easiest way to do that is online at JawsawSpillers.com. JawsawSpillers.com. Shout out to Dr. Chad Spillers and everybody over there, as they've been easy and great to work with. Got the follow-up coming up here in a couple of months. I mean, a couple of weeks.
It was a couple of months. Now
it has been a couple of months.
The calendar is flipping.
Been a long 3 months for the front tooth, bro.
Feels like you've acclimated to it.
I mean, you do adjust, but the tooth thing, it's just always there. It's just always there, and there's something. This thing's got like a hole in the back of it now.
Oh, so you're flicking your tongue on it
all day.
Yeah,
all day.
Wear it wrong.
Food kind of gets in there. Oh. It's just a nightmare, bro. It is a nightmare. But
you can eat whole foods now, right? You're not still on the soup gang.
Out of the smoothie game. I'm out of the smoothie.
Yeah, I saw that. Hard to get a smoothie at 7 a.m.
It is.
If you don't make it yourself.
It is. Hour 2, we're going to talk to J-Boy, Jake Crain over at the J-Boy Show. Megan making money, going to start giving us some picks here as the NFL season starts today. Who does she like going into tonight's action with the Bucks and the boys? As the Cowboys and the Bucks. You got a line on that? You got a spread on that?
I think it is 7.
Let me just guess.
Seven.
Is it 7?
It's 7 or 7.5.
Bucks?
It's 7.5 right now.
Wow.
And
don't you like Dallas on that number?
I'll buy a half point and take the Bucks all day. Dallas is terrible.
They don't buy it down like 6.5.
No, you could buy it's at 7.5, so you can buy a half a point, get a little bit of juice in there, which is probably worth the squeeze just to get it at that good football number.
Love a 7. Hate a 7 and a hook.
7 and a hook, that could change your bet. You could almost
you play the boys.
Cowboys.
That's what I'm saying. 7 and a hook. You play the boys, right?
Juice and take Tom Brady because you're going to be
begging you to take the Bucks.
Yeah, you're going to be kicking yourself though if you're watching that game in the second quarter and it's 28-0 Bucks and you're like, who do I think I am? You're trying to outsmart Brady against Brady. I've already done that. It's a bad mistake.
Gets you every time. It gets you every time.
So just buy that half point. We'll talk to Megan making money, see if she agrees. But I mean, the Cowboys, I don't think they have their start. They don't have their Martin. I think he's out on the COVID list. They're a good offensive lineman. So I'd imagine with Ndamukong Suh coming back, that this could be a disaster potentially for the Cowboys. Hour 2 coming at you here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Geaux Chevrolet. Stop in and check out the crew today online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Talking more SEC football with J-Boy and Jake Crain a minute from now here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Geaux Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Geaux Chevrolet. Remember, Geaux Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Flow IV and Spa, 7970 Jefferson Highway is where you can find them, or you can simply go online to goflowiv.com.
GoFlow IV Spa is a medical spa that specializes in IV hydration with vitamin infusion. At GoFlow IV Spa, they can help you with a wide range of issues, from skin care to illness recovery, athletic performance, hangover cure, chronic illness, and even chronic dehydration. GoFlowIV.com or stop in and see them, 7970 Jefferson Highway. Welcome back here to Hour 2 of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Geaux Chevrolet. Shout out to Josh Pate for coming by here. As you can find him on Twitter at LateKickJosh. Our next guest is absolutely blowing up. Every time I look up, it seems like a new press release is hitting the streets on our next guy. Crain over at the J-Boy Show is now a part of the Volume Podcast Network, which is headed up by Colin Cowherd. And they had some big news
Knows his shit.
yesterday.
Great stuff.
Was the name, image, and likeness deal. We signed a couple of name, image, and likeness deals here on the Culotta Show. We inked Keishon Butte and BJ Ojulari. And
Jake Crain, you know?
And Jake Crain and the J-Boy Show inked 7 of them from around the conference yesterday, including Todd Harris from Plaquemine, Louisiana, and now a safety over at LSU. J-Boy joins us now. He's back with us here on this Thursday morning. What up, Jay? How you doing, bro?
Hey, man, what's up? No, I appreciate that intro. Yeah, yesterday was kind of like the early signing period before the early signing.
That's right. That's right. You cleaned up, bro. You're definitely in first place right now. Tell me how you got.
Everybody got a charger, so it's a good situation.
That's right. Well, I did see that you did sign an Alabama player, so he's already got a charger. What'd you give him? Tell me about these negotiations. How'd it go?
Oh, man, it went great. You know, the first announcement we had yesterday, I'm doing a spin-off show with Bryce Young. Me and him are going to do it weekly. That'll be on the Volume 2. That won't be the J-Boy Show, but that'll be a separate show. And, man, it just kind of came together over the course of time. Drew Butler and Icon Source and all those guys did a great job. I thought the players, representation, made it actually a lot easier than what I thought. So, we ended up inking, like you said, Todd Harris, Bo Nix, Hunter Bazelak, Kiara Jackson, Jamari Sawyer, Jordan Battle from Alabama as well, and then Jalen Watermeyer, the big tight end from Texas A&M. So we're going to be bringing them on a lot and trying to give a little different perspective to the audience. So it's been cool, man. It's been interesting as hell. It's a new wave in college football for sure.
I thought after week 1 that Bryce Young might have been the best quarterback in the sport. Forget the conference. Tell me the project that you have going on with him, and then tell me what you think about Alabama under his direction on offense.
Yeah, well, we're basically just co-hosting the show. It's going to be us, talking about that week and the week before and kind of what it's like, being in his shoes and already being in the Heisman race as a young guy. So, now, look, watching that game, Alabama's Alabama. They're going to be Alabama, until Nick hangs it up, and they're probably going to be somewhat close to that. Whoever comes in and takes it over with Nick's blessing. They look like a complete team. I thought Bryce, from a composure standpoint, that's what I was watching. he going to be composed, and then was he going to be able to stay in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and show some maturity at quarterback instead of taking off every time just because the way he's built. I don't think he can survive the year doing that on a consistent basis, and was really just impressed, with his grasp of what was going on and not panicking. I mean, had a few big plays where he was improvising. I thought Bill O'Brien did a good job of not overfeeding him too. They knew what they were able to get away with. They knew they were going to be able to run the ball. They knew the play-action game would be strong. But I thought he gave him a good mix of some intermediate, short. You didn't see a ton of vertical game from Bryce and them because they really didn't have to. So I thought it was a really good performance from him. And Alabama looks like the most complete team in the country to me.
You had the Dogs picked to win the national championship in the preseason. You were heckled on that on this show a little bit. And I'm sure that you've heard that from around the country. After week one, you got to like where you're sitting after what Georgia looked like, especially defensively. What did you see from the Bulldogs?
Yeah, I mean, it was watching Georgia's front seven, and not just the front seven. I thought the back end played really well, considering. But what they were able to do, number one, you're not going to be able to run the ball. So, outside of maybe beating them to the perimeter or some counter runs or some witchcraft and wizardry, straight out of Dumbledore's handbook, you're not going to be able to run the ball too much on them. So they know they're going to funnel you one way. The only chance you have is that, you hit some plays downfield, or that you catch them slipping in a blitz, or that you pick up a blitz. But, while the players are fantastic, and they were, I thought Dan Lanning was just phenomenal with the way he called that game defensively. Mm-hmm. He blitzed at the perfect time. He was mixing up the sauce. You were getting some man. You were getting some zone. And I truly believe that halfway through the second quarter, Kirby, without Kearis Jackson, without Darnell Washington, without Burt, with a beat-up Burton, with a beat-up Blaylock, no Pickens, no Reed Gilbert. I thought they made the conscious decision that we're going to have to win this game the old school way. We're going to have to survive this. We know how good we are defensively. But, Clemson's daggone good on defense, too, now. Don't mistake it. Georgia's very, very talented. They're Jordan Davis, man. I mean, he looks like one of the – it's like when you played your dad, like out in pickup and you actually scored on him and he got pissed when you're like 11 and then just decided to take over. Like that's kind of what I saw with Jordan Davis. So it looks to me to be Alabama and Georgia. And look, a lot of people give a lot of hell to a lot of different picks, but that one and then my Kentucky finishing second in the East, guys. I'm just telling you, you look over there. Will Levis is eating bananas with the peels on them. He's peeling out, sprint out. Wandale Robinson is straight out of Slytherin. So I mean. They're doing some things over there. That's my second Harry Potter reference I'm done for the show.
You must have caught the marathon on AMC or something.
I
know, right? I've used up my quota.
Their offensive line looks like a terrible matchup for LSU. Speaking of Kentucky, after watching them play, those guys are some maulers. Give me some more on Kentucky. What'd you see?
Well, I've said it. I think Mark Stoops is the best catch on Lexington. I don't care what anybody says. When I watch Kentucky, they Jimbo's building A&M from the inside out, from the lines, from the trenches out. Mark has been doing that at Kentucky for about the last 2, 3, even going on 4 years, and you can really see it. Dare Rosenthal obviously was a huge pickup. And look, Lon Monroe's not a good football team. We all know that. But just seeing that style, seeing Kentucky be able to pass. I was watching their guys pass that. That was the one thing I was wondering, just because they didn't have a practice at it in the old regime. And I thought they looked really good. But you look at those weapons. Wandale Robinson, you've got Josh Ali, you've got Chris Rodriguez at back, you've got Cavassier Smoke, which may be one of the coolest things I've ever heard of.
Has to be.
But they have the weapons, and they're good on defense. And I watched Florida, and, you want to talk about catching hell, Jordy? You thought I caught hell for Georgia. I had Florida finishing third for some East, and I thought they were going to come to my house with pitchforks and torches.
What about LSU, bro? How bad is it from your perspective?
Oh, man, that was LSU is going to be fine. No, I'm just kidding.
I believed you for a second.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Look, I said this on the show. It's one thing to not be as good as people thought. It's another thing to put the product out on the field that was out on the field on Saturday. There's no excuse to, in my opinion, to be at LSU, recruit the way they recruit, be in the brand name in that state, which we all know how talent-rich that state is, but overall recruit the way they recruit and have the product on the field the way it was. I saw guys that were out of shape. I saw guys that didn't understand leverage. I saw guys that had terrible fundamental tackling. I've never seen more guys try and tackle with their head over their feet. But the part to me that is a terminal illness, what it looks like, is there's either something going on in that locker room, there's something going on, or the coaches don't know how to communicate to the players. I saw no adjustments. All UCLA did on offense was run shallow cross, mesh, and zone runs with Charbonnet. All they did on defense was basically run engage 8, a play I've been running on Madden NCAA since I was 9 years old. So not knowing how to adjust to that, and you can't blame the personnel. They're talented. The odds of having that many busts are
right.
Good when you recruit that way. But watching Max Johnson back there, it looked like he was walking into, like a battered men's shelter or something every time he dropped back in the pocket, because he's just like a hit dog. Like, either he knows the offensive line is horrible and knew it was going to be bad, or he realized that UCLA is blitzing every time and he just panicked. Because all you got to do, guys, to get them out of that is hit that ball to Palmer right in the middle.
Yeah.
And put the dagger in up 70 yards. That'll get them out of it real quick.
Yeah.
Because they were essentially running just cover 0, was it not? They were just bringing that's the one thing you have to do.
I thought they were running 0, and they were running man-free behind it. Now, you had there was a couple zone blitzes you saw in there, and then you saw some stunts up front. But for the most part, they were just like, hey, you've got 5 offensive linemen. We're going to bring 7 guys, and we're going to see what Max Johnson can do. But, again, guys, you weren't able to run the ball. And if you can't run the ball against UCLA, and I don't think UCLA is a bad team, it's going to be a long year.
You mentioned how Bill O'Brien set up Alabama for success, especially a young quarterback. What did you see that Jake Peetz maybe could have done better or taken from a game plan that you saw Alabama do, or just how to set up a young quarterback for success with the weapons that LSU has?
Yeah, well, if you can't run the ball, I mean, you're basically screwed either way. There's not a great answer for it. But what I don't understand is why LSU kept running the play clock all the way down double digits in the second half. To me, that shows lack of awareness. Like, you're sitting there checking with me with 8 seconds left in the play clock every time. Me and my brother are just looking at each other like, dude, what's going on? I thought the passing game, look, it's half on the players too. I didn't think he did a really good job mixing in the screen game. I thought he should have gone to the intermediate game even more. And for the love of God, get the ball to Pate.
Good God. Jesus.
This dude's got 6 looks with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. He's out there using the refs to throw picks. I mean, he's basically fucking basketball out there. And you're trying to throw the ball to every guy under the sun except him. So, I know Jake's young. They've got plenty of time there. But there was not a good debut. And for Durante Jones, he gets you into the Bo Pelini school of it's man until it's man.
Can Orgeron fix this from your point of view?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Orgeron is a schematical guy. Like, Orgeron to me is, the owner of the club that walks around and just uses situations or gets people excited or, talks to the employees during a shift change or something. I don't think if he does not have good coordinators, he will fail. And that some coaches are like that. Tommy Tuberville at Auburn was not a schematical guy, but he knew how to hire coordinators. And Ed O hit a home run when he had Joe Burrow and Joe Brady and all this and Dave Aranda and all this. And now you've made what looks like 2 bad coordinator hires in a row, and you can't. So he's not going to go in there and be like, all right, guys, I got the perfect place. Go bring us back. You know, he doesn't have a clean notebook like Mr. Coach Klein that he can go to with a bunch of plays in it to beat Red Bayou. Like, it's done. I think the off-the-field stuff, because when you're losing, everything shines brighter. It all shines brighter, and it all gets out there. So I think it's a matter of time, and I know the perfect guy who should take over at LSU.
Who you got? I got Lane Kiffin. Who you got?
Man, Lane wouldn't survive down there. Here's who I think. And again, I'm going to give you all, I was going to save it for the show, but I've already kept it on stuff. I think it's going to be Mario Cristobal.
No. Good God. You can't bring in Mario Cristobal with the offense that he runs.
Shoot. When you imagine him recruiting the way he recruits at LSU, if not, Bama's going to get him when it opens up. You can bet on that.
It's definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be from Saban's tree because of Scott Woodward's relationship with Saban.
There's one guy Saban wants to follow him at Bama, and it ain't Dabo.
I know that.
Chris Paul wants back in the SEC like you wouldn't believe.
And it's not Kirby either. It's not Kirby either.
No. And Kirby ain't leading Georgia. That's the first breath of air he took.
Jake Crain from the J Boy Show. Follow him at the J Boy Show. Got something coming up today. Is it 2 to 3 o'clock? Right, 2 to 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 Central. Eastern.
Yep. The last one, I'll get you out of here. Does Texas Arkansas draw you this weekend? Does it pull you in?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a preview of a future SEC matchup. Man, I'm rooting hard for Arkansas. I just take Jefferson. I don't think they can throw him to a win, but I think it's going to be a good game in Fayetteville. If Arkansas can get a couple turnovers, just get through the first half of that bumper pool who got, called for targeting just like 38% of America this past Saturday. So I'm excited to watch them.
Keep up the great work, bro. Thank you for the time this morning. We'll be checking in again soon.
Too, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. See you. Brandon Cox inside of the bunker says Joe Brady. I don't know how many times we have to have this conversation. Joe Brady is not leaving the NFL to come back to college football. You could offer him the Alabama head football coaching job, and he is not coming back to college football. I would put my life on it that Joe Brady is a NFL head coach within the next 2 seasons.
Damn, Jordy.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, he had 2 interviews this offseason.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no amount of money in the world that would make him come back to college football, even if you think he has a certain tie here or has a nostalgia about coming back to LSU. There's 0% chance he comes to
Joe
back
Brady
to college.
is a football scientist.
He doesn't want to deal with it.
He's a football professor. He likes to have the elite football players in the world at his disposal and just sit in an office 8 months a year and draw up plays and have 3 months off. He doesn't want to spend those 3 months that he has off. I mean, Joe Brady told T-Bob and I 2 years ago the difference between the NFL and college football, and especially working in a program like the New Orleans Saints and Sean Payton. Sean Payton has coaches' quarters built into the facility for training camp and off-season OTAs, pretty much spreading the message of, you guys ain't leaving. Y'all aren't leaving. You're sleeping here. In fact, Drew Brees put up the money for the offensive staff to build those bunks inside of the facility, and Brady was telling us it's like king-size bed, bunk beds. It's like this state-of-the-art type of dorm, really. But the message is, during the season, you're locked here. The doors are locked. You're not leaving. You're scheming. You're making sure the personnel's right. You're coming up and watching film. You're finding ways to beat your opponent. But then, in the offseason, do what the hell you can do whatever the hell you want.
Look at what I do. I'm out.
You can do whatever the hell you want to do, man. You can go vacation in Bali for 2 months if you want. Whatever you want to do. But you better be back here on day one, and you have to know that when day one hits, you ain't leaving for 8 months. You're not going anywhere. Season, off season, all that stuff. In college football, you don't have those days off anymore. I mean, you really don't. When you look at the calendar, there's probably about 25, 30 days, about a month that you have off. Really. And you really can't check all the way out when you're a college football coach. And the recruiting aspect totally turned Brady off. It really did. I mean, sitting in an airport when he could be sitting in his office, scheming, writing up plays, watching film, was something that he just didn't like. And the possibility of you spending all this time, this energy, for somebody to tell you no, I'm going to go to Clemson, or I'm going to Alabama, or I'm going to Georgia. He wasn't down with that. He wants to just sit, script, and coach football. And in the NFL, it gives you that opportunity, and he's elite in the NFL. He had 2 interviews last year. I think Atlanta and the Chargers interviewed him.
I don't know.
I don't know if it was he had 2. I don't know if who the 2 teams were. I knew one was Atlanta, and I think the other one was the Chargers.
I just know he wants to be in an environment he can control. And in recruiting, you can't control what other people decide. You can woo them, you can do whatever you want to try to pitch them and sell them your program, but at the end of the day, it's their decision. He wants to be the one making decisions, and that's why he'll never leave the NFL. He totally is a master of his own design. Like, that's how the way he operates. He feels like if he can be in total control, then at least he knows whose fault it is. Mm-hmm. It's going to fall directly to me. And so I think that's the way he operates, to where put me in a room, let me do my thing, and I'll come back with, here's a million ways to score. Mm-hmm. Let me go back to my hole.
Chili Vic asks, good morning, Katie. It's good to see you.
Good morning.
Great to see you.
Y'all.
Carpool?
It was a long line.
Yeah.
Long line.
Felt long this morning.
Long line.
Everybody's back with gas, dude.
Yeah,
Everybody's
right.
back. Everybody's
got their
back.
gas.
Chili Vic asks, Jordy, do you believe Coach O is meddling in the offense and the defense? God help us if he's meddling in the offense.
Had a headset on.
But I definitely do that there's some type of influence on the defense, because when he told you he hired Durante Jones, he said with his ability to coach the back end of the defense, the secondary, and Orgeron's expertise on the front end, it almost sounds like they're co-coordinators, right? Like that they work hand in hand, which again is a total misleading statement that he made a couple of years ago when he got the job, when he understood that, hey, I'm the figurehead, I'm the guy that recruits, and I'm going to bring in 2 top-end coordinators on each side of me to make sure and stabilize this thing. Now, Jake Peets being a first-time play caller doesn't fit that bill. He comes from a really good pedigree, and his resume is very impressive when you look at it just all in all. NFL, college, worked at Bama, under Saban, done all the deal, man. Been under Brady at Carolina the last couple of seasons. Worked with Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay. I mean, he's got a really good resume. First time he's ever called plays at a college level, at any level. Same goes for Durante Jones, or first time he's done it in a while. That doesn't fit the formula that Orgeron laid out on how he was going to succeed at LSU. Right? This isn't me telling you how I think Orgeron can succeed at LSU. This is what he told the public on how he was going to succeed and run the program. That he was going to be the recruiter, the closer, the guy that really was in the homes and on the Zooms and closing guys and recruiting Louisiana first. And he was going to bring in Dave Aranda, and he was going to bring in Lane Kiffin, and these guys were going to call plays, and when they left, you were just going to replenish and reload. Right? Well, the formula in which they operate today is not the equation that you recognized when he was introduced, or what he described when he was introduced. And like J-Boy just said, even Ed Orgeron knew 4 years ago when he got the gig, 5 years ago when he got the gig, that I've got to align myself with really smart people in football to be successful here. I've got to have guys around me that understand scheme and can game plan and can watch film and break down and analyze and evaluate players and recruit. And it's just not the formula. It's not what he said was going to be the layout of the LSU program. And I think for that, you're seeing the struggles, because now he's got to do things that he is unaccustomed to, unprepared to do, and he's not good at. It's not his skill set. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, or whether it's his fault or the administration's fault, we can debate all that. But at the end of the day, if he's acting as the head coach and implementing game plans, LSU's in trouble. And even he knew that 5 years ago. And now they're operating under some pretense that it feels like he's the guy, when That's not what everybody signed up for. That's not the deal, right? And people understood if it became like this, LSU could be in some big, big trouble. And it seems as if that's the way LSU is operating, and LSU seems to be in big, big trouble. Daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Get in touch with my friend Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders by logging online to rmb-builders.com. They can overhaul your house for you. They can build you a brand new custom-made house. They can help you with a remodel. They can help you with any handiwork you need around the house. Or if you have a commercial project, let them help you out today over at RMB Builders. Finished up the house over here a couple of weeks back, and it was great to work with those guys. I encourage you, if you have a project around your house or around your office, to get in touch with Rhett and his crew. RMB-Builders.com. RMB-Builders.com is where you find them online.
How about that email he sent out to all his clients before the hurricane,
that was
telling you
great.
exactly what to do, how to prepare, and that you would be priority for him if you were a client.
I love that.
I told him yesterday, I was like, that was amazing. Like, that was great. It was great tips, like, to help you when damage might happen. Loved it.
Speaking of great, the giveaway that you have put together here for our show has been very popularly accepted, and everybody has jumped aboard. We have seen our social media game pick up a ton after everything that you are offering out there.
Good stuff.
We are about to give this thing away.
Y'all want to draw for it now?
Absolutely. Tell them first and
I'm
foremost. Tell them
wearing-
first the people that are involved in this giveaway. The relationships that we have that you were able to put together, because it's fantastic.
Yes.
The more you read on it, the more you really understand that this is a tremendous opportunity. And stick around in 5 minutes. We'll be talking to Megan Making Money here and start getting a feel of the NFL season and who she likes going into it. But Katie did such a fantastic job of putting this together and got so much feedback from it. I felt like every time I opened up Instagram, there was somebody just publicizing a story for us. There were some people on Facebook.
Thanks, everybody, for my friends for doing that. That was really awesome.
It was.
All your friends and all your fans.
That's right.
I don't know
That's
about
right.
that, but friends.
No, you got fans.
So we've got
Check Tiger
Botox from
Droppers.
Johnson. No thanks. From Johnson
Said you
Builders
wanted it.
Dentistry. Did I?
I think so. You go going public. I want to know who's out there.
20 units of Botox, a tiger tee from Hemline Town Center, a tiger sweater from Queen of Sparkles, which I'm wearing one right now. You won't win this one, but you will win a fresh new one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. A spray tan from
Can't get people
Noah's
the
sister.
worn one.
You can't give people the worn one. That's weird.
I don't know. Some people might want that. It might not be who you think it is.
Okay.
I'll give you the shirt off my back.
Okay. Bracelets from Shark and Wolf Jewelry, a tiger stack and a saint stack, a treatment of the winner's choice from Go Flow IV, and a Jordy Culotta Show purple and gold tank top.
Sweet, man.
Y'all
How many
wanna
people?
draw-
do you know how many people?
I don't know for sure. Here's the bowl of names. It's a lot.
Wow.
I could go back and count. It
All right,
was
here, you give me that
9
bowl and
pages.
you pick it since you put this together. A little music there, Lizzie.
I got you.
Yeah, let's get
All right.
some drum rolls.
So just
maybe.
one? We just got one winner.
Well, one winner, yeah.
One winner.
Yeah.
Right.
And we'll do another one if this was successful, and if y'all want to do a boys football giveaway.
Absolutely, we do.
I'd love to
We'll need you.
help with that.
We'll need you to help put that together.
Well, really?
What are we giving away?
Nah, y'all
we don't
got
want to
it.
give Lloyd
Y'all
that
got
assignment.
it. Y'all got it.
The Super Bowl.
2025. We're finally doing that giveaway, huh?
Full expectation that.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. After a couple of months, after a couple of weeks, the grand prize winner is Amy Wren.
I don't know Amy Wren, but
Amy
I will
Wren,
get
me
in
either.
touch with you.
I kind of like the fact that we don't know the winner because
Yeah,
Kelly was
it would
asking
be-
me last night, "What if I win?" Then I said, "It's going to be
well,
rigged."
Yeah.
So I sent a picture of,
Yeah,
of me
that's 'cause
cutting
that's what
out
she
the
was
names
saying.
to
That's what
Kelly,
she was
just
saying.
showing that her name was in there. She just
She was
texted
like,
me.
"I
She's
think
like,
I won."
I thought I won. I was like, no, I was just showing you your name. was
She said
in
that
there.
last night. She was like, "I think I won." I was like, "I don't think the drawing's till
We're gonna do
tomorrow."
it
She was
on
like,
the
"No,
show."
she pulled my name. I won." I was like, "Okay, well, we might run into some problems there
Yeah, you
if
think?
my girl won."
I mean, if I pulled her name, she would totally
She would
win.
definitely be
That's
the
totally
winner. That's what I
legit.
told her. I was like, I mean, if they pull your name legitimately, I mean, I guess we can't do the thing. I mean, they're going to be doing it live on air.
It's like the episode of The Office where they do Employee of the Month and Pam wins.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
All
good job,
right,
Jim.
all right, yeah,
And
right.
do it again, then Jim wins. It's like, oh my God.
Look, Kel, I got you some more bracelets. So shout out to Amy Wren.
Yeah, Amy Wren.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody, for participating.
Cody Boudreaux says the old lady didn't win. It's rigged. Cody, thank you to everybody out there who was involved in this. And look, man, we're going to do this again, obviously, with the success that this one had. We will no, most definitely be doing this
fun,
again.
and we
Good
got
job.
a lot of girl followers. That's
Nice
what I've
job.
been.
Nice
That's
job.
what
Nice
I'm
work.
saying.
Let's go.
Nice
Some
work.
girl following.
Nice work.
My brain is swirling trying to think what a boys giveaway would look like.
That's why we got Katie behind the scenes doing this.
Yeah.
I already know.
I sat down. I was on the Patty G show last night.
I saw that.
Yes, and we were talking about
I
our.
would have gone and
We were
watched.
talking about our team. It's probably better you did. There was nobody there.
I know. I saw all the clips, but it looked cool.
What
And I was
time?
talking about our team. I was talking about our group. And when we were talking about Katie, they were like, "How do you describe her?" I said, "She keeps us out of jail." You know what I mean, like she makes sure we pay our taxes. Not only does she do great social media campaigns, but she makes sure everybody's invoiced. She makes everybody sure everybody's
Pays
paid.
us.
Yeah, right. I mean, like
We do our taxes.
she
I don't
cuts the
know.
checks. I mean, she really just kind of
The
keeps us out of
engine.
jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I could ever give anybody a compliment, that's a great one.
Thank you.
Megan making money coming up here in mere seconds. Remember, daily we are brought to you by, speaking of the Patty G Show, one of his sponsors is Falaya Real Estate. Our friend Barrett Blondo over at Falaya Real Estate. So community oriented, Barrett is over at Falaya. And if you just look around, man, there are Falaya signs everywhere.
There really are.
I mean, like, if
all
you
over
start
my
paying
neighborhood.
attention to it, like if you start looking around at houses for sale, I mean, I was riding down Clay Cut yesterday, right there by Catholic High. Clay Cut, and I believe that's Clay Cut and Glenmore or Clay Cut
It
and
is.
Steel, that house that has been
Yeah.
there forever, that's on a great lot, that's always kind of been run over and run down. There's now a huge Falaya, beautiful Falaya real estate sign right there for sale, and a house that has been cleaned up. It kind of shows you how beautiful that lot
It
is.
does.
It's a
I
great
love it.
area of town.
And the lot behind it, Falaya
Yes.
has listed too.
That's
that
right.
You can buy with it.
And
That's
the-
right.
the
Needs a
color-
fence.
It does.
Okay.
Little open.
Oh my God! I would
Little
never. Can you
open.
imagine
Can't
us
be in
hanging
the
out in the
yard.
yard?
Can't be in the yard. Can't walk in the hall the way that I like to
You
walk
can't
around the
do
house, bro.
anything.
I mean, it's a window door, a clear door window, straight through. I mean, you're just kind of like, and it's a stop sign. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you kind of,
It's a stop.
yo, how are you?
Good morning.
Bacon, eggs? But Falaya Real Estate, check them out online, falaya.com. Download the app today. Get in touch with Barrett Blondo and the crew. Patrick Kimry says, boys give away case of beer, bag of beef jerky, and
Bear specialty
and a
meats.
truck wash.
Cheerleaders truck wash. Happy birthday, Patrick, by the way.
okay.
It's Patrick's birthday.
Happy birthday, Patty.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Patrick.
Megan making money in 30 seconds here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Tell them about the painting real quick.
Oh, the painting.
Yes, but well, let's
we
get
talked about
get
it
Megan on the
yesterday
phone.
for just a minute. This is, sorry, I'm gonna slide it over. Jamar Simeon's painting. It's called The Best Ever, named after the best season ever. You can see Joey Burrow right there, and it's on our website for sale. If you go to our website and click on news, you can see everything about Jamar and about the painting. He started it in the pandemic, April 2020. And then finished it up, and a portion of the proceeds are going to Louisiana High School art scholarships. But you can go to our website, jordyculottashow.com, and click on news, and then get to where you can purchase. Starts at $150 depending on the size, and you can get your own print. Check it out. It's awesome. Lloyd,
Stuff just blows my mind.
you gotta move that. You gotta move the camera.
You
I'm
moved it
dying
the wrong
over here.
way.
No, like Jordy looks like tiny in the chair, and I look as wide as the chair next
Well,
to him. and
I was
it's
trying
killing
to.
me.
I was
It's killing me.
trying to put this thing in the frame, and you moved it over.
sorry.
And so I had to stretch it out again.
Sorry.
That's what she
I
said.
just meant in general. It is what she said.
And we're going back. Thank you.
I just meant in general. I noticed.
It's the,
I hate the angle. You of all people should appreciate that.
a good angle.
right? You don't want to look wide.
You look good. And then look, you put this thing up,
Not into it.
and it looks good. It looks good.
Thanks.
People
Thanks.
compliment you.
Thank you, Lloyd.
All right, welcome back here. It has been a while since we talked to our girl, who is experiencing a ton of success up there at Barstool Sports. Her story is amazing, the way that it kind of rolls and where she is now. Last couple of weeks, we've been playing phone tag. She's been dealing with a lot of stuff back down there at home with not only the storms and everything, but sick babies and stuff. How is everybody? Is everybody healthy? Good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful. Yes, everyone is healthy. Everything's good. As far like storm-wise, like we evacuated, didn't even need to. Probably would have gotten better weather here in Lafayette than I did over in Destin. But you know, it can't be. You know, I got to be thankful for a little bit of rain that I did get. My in-laws got some damage, so we've been going over there trying to help them. You know, blown out windows, trees on house, that sort of thing. But all's well. And yeah, I'm ready for football season. How are y'all?
Doing good. Good to hear about the little man. Glad to hear he's healthy and on the way back up. And football season started great out in L.A. We made the trip, and Los Angeles was fantastic. Then the game kicked off. I saw you had LSU minus the 2.5 on Saturday. Meg, how big of a setback was that for you as just a gambler? Are you now scared of LSU after their opening weekend performance?
I'm not necessarily scared, but I definitely have my reservations as a bettor as far as where I'm putting my money. And, you know, that just might be one of those years where I just sit back and save my money and put it on something else and just enjoy just what LSU football, you know, just having LSU football. I don't know if I'll enjoy what it is this year. Hopefully we will. But you know, I might not be putting too much coin over there on the Tigers. But it was a setback. It was definitely. I was hurting the next morning. I had so many people in my DMs chirping me nonstop.
Oof, I bet.
Yeah, it was bad, especially because, you know, I went in there with this, and I loved it with the whole sissy blue shirt comment. It fired me up. I thought we were about to run through a brick wall. So, you know, I obviously retweeted that, and I got lots and
So
lots
did we.
and lots.
So did we. So did we.
Worth it.
So did we.
Everyone does.
We did the LSU by a million thing with the fire emoji. Next thing you know, we're the butt of everybody's jokes 4 hours later.
Now we're wearing sissy blue shirts. We bought some.
That's right. We got the sissy blues and everything.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt.
Yeah, it stung. It stung. It stung.
But on to the next game. We got McNeese this weekend. Is that what it is?
McNeese this weekend on Saturday. They're hosting them there. But more I am looking forward to is the NFL schedule. The college football schedule this weekend, I think Ohio State and Oregon pulls you in. Iowa State's a good one from a national. I think Texas, Arkansas.
Both those, yeah.
Texas, Arkansas. But the NFL, how do you look at the NFL? How are you evaluating this NFL opening weekend?
Honestly, I'm kind of erring on the side of caution just because we haven't, you know, like especially with this first game. I tried to convince myself to take the Cowboys. I mean, I was like, look, they've been hiding Dak. Dak's the top 5 QB. They have a top 5 running back. They have an amazing core of wide receivers. And I just kept thinking about, like, whenever you see a luxury item, right, and you're like, you know, do I really want that item, or is there a dupe out there? Is there something that I could, you know, pay a little less money for, but still have a good product? I was thinking I found a dupe in the Cowboys, right? But the more I think about it, I cannot not splurge on Tom Brady, right? Like I tried to convince myself of the Super Bowl hangover.
Smart woman.
But Tom Brady is not going to have a Super Bowl hangover. He's not going to allow this team to have a Super Bowl hangover. I feel like they are going to come out and just rip the Cowboys to shreds. I understand that, you know, they're going to feed Zeke, but, you know, I mean, the Bucs had the #1 rush defense last year. They returned to everybody, so I don't see why it's not as good, if not better. I don't see a way that Dak can pull this off. Not to mention, I heard in an interview that he was pretty much saying that, like, you know, he was scared to get hit. He's like, as long as I can stay upright, I think I'll be okay. And, you know, it's like, I don't want a quarterback that's worried about if he's going to go down. I want somebody that's ready to stay in that pocket and just take a beating if need be. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game tonight, obviously. I'm juiced about it. I'm ready to see Tom Brady go out there and sling the rock.
Speaking of juice, where did you get the line? Because it has moved up to 8.5.
So I actually teased it with the Saints, but I think I'm going to end up going and taking a first half bet. I'm looking at first half minus 5.5. I don't think there's any way that Tom doesn't score in the first probably 5 minutes of the game, let alone the first half. And I don't see an opportunity. I mean, if the Cowboys get something, I think they'll maybe get down there, maybe make a field goal. But knowing the Cowboys, they'll get all the way down there and then miss the damn thing. So I'm so high on the Buccaneers. I tried to sell myself on the Cowboys with that line. I mean, it's so high for a season opener, but how can you not lay it with Tom Brady?
Amen. Tom Brady,
Amen.
the GOAT, right? You can't bet against him. Been burned too many times.
I won't bet against him until he retires.
Anything standing out this other than that one tonight or this opening weekend? Anything that you're looking at from an NFL standpoint before we get to college plays?
I like the Seahawks minus 2.5. I just don't know if I trust Carson Wentz coming off that injury and just in general. I like the Chargers money line. That's also, we're going to be running a promo. back. We're doing preseason promo where if you bet a money line bet with me, win or lose, you get a sick Barstool Sportsbook hoodie that's exclusive to the bets. If not, you have to pay $10,000 for it. So obviously, a $50 money line bet is the place what you want to do. So this week, my money line bet is on the Chargers. I think I got it at -114. And so, yeah, I understand that the football team has an amazing defense. Defense wins championships, but I think that it's going to be hard for Fitzpatrick to keep up with the pace of Justin. I want to say A-Bear so bad because of I get it in my head, but Herbert. But yeah, so I like Chargers money line. I like Panthers. I like the Darnold revenge tour. I think he's going to absolutely just try to murder the Jets.
I agree.
And yeah, I'm teasing the Bucks with the Saints. I'm teasing the Saints to 10.5. I don't know if I'm worried about betting against Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he's going to go out there this year and not give a shit, but in the best way possible, to where it's he's having fun, like how Tom Brady is down in Florida. I feel like he might go and just
play loose,
let it this year. Yeah. And I'm worried about that, but I do think that the Saints, they were smart. We're playing in Jacksonville. Supposedly, Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well in the heat. I feel like that's a little overblown. However, I still think that we're going to be able to keep it within 10.5. I don't think that's a crazy number. I really wanted to take a money line bet on them, but I just gotta see some real game action, playing with some real QBs, and see how the Saints fare. But that's really what I'm looking at as far as NFL this weekend.
You mentioned some teasers. I've got one more for you. If you want to tease the Bucks tonight, I did a 6-point teaser. I'm just looking at it. Rams -1.5. Stafford, McVay, first game together. I got a feeling that they're going to be absolutely electric.
Yeah, I looked at that one too. I was definitely not on my list. I just I had to pass it up I had to put the Saints on my card. I feel like they're playing for the state this week. I had to put the Saints on my back.
Megan, who are we looking at on Saturday? Who stands out in college football this weekend?
Okay, so let's see. I'm looking on my little book. I like Iowa State. Last week, I should have given out Iowa. I talked to Hester about it. He took Indiana last week. I was like, I don't know. I think I like Iowa there. Their defense is pretty stout. Sure enough, they picked off Phoenix. I think that's his name, Phoenix. 3 times. They allowed, 2 field goals. And, they just stuffed the run game there. And Iowa has a big question mark around their quarterback. I'm not sold on him. I think Brock Purdy is a much better quarterback there. I think that first game, but they had to squeak by there. But I think that was kind of like a knock the rust off, maybe a little look ahead into Iowa this week. So I like Iowa State -4.5. Thinking about, and I hate it, but I'm thinking about taking Texas over Arkansas. They just look so damn good against UL, and I feel like I took UL last week. I feel like UL is a very respectable football team. I love Billy Napier, but I think that UL was almost like the perfect practice game for this Arkansas team. I think they're going to want to run the ball just like UL. I think the defense is going to be similar. Obviously, it's SEC talent, but I kind of want to take Texas. I am definitely, I know it's a big number, but I like the Ohio State +14.5. I think they put that hook on there for anyone to bite on Oregon, and I'm not doing it. I'm sticking on that Ohio State train. Oregon, I think they play at 11, which means half those kids in Oregon would still be in their beds. It's a 9 o'clock game for them. I like that. And let's see what else. Looking at NC State, looking at Army, and one team that I'm really excited to watch this weekend is the Chanticleers. They're -25.5, fat line, but Kansas sucks. Basketball school at the very best. The Chants are so much fun to watch. They love to run up the score on people. Like, they are the most relentless. Just like if there was a team that embodied a bat flip, that would be the Chants. They just put it in your face. They do not care. They can score 100 on you, and they'll still be wanting more. So watch this under Friday Night Lights. It's on TV. I mean, this is, and they get to play a big school. I absolutely love it. I think they're going to probably win by 35. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at this weekend. And if you can't tell, I'm so excited. Also, got a new show today coming out.
Let's go.
Be live. It's going to be Monday. It's going to be Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays. It's me and Hilly in Vegas. So you're going to get a little bit of casual better from me, and then some sharp Vegas knowledge from her. Going to be recapping or capping and recapping all the folks, not all football, but all the games we like, and then some college games that we like as well.
How has the Barstool life been?
It's definitely, as they describe it, it's a pirate ship. I mean, you just kind of got to hold on for dear life and just go where they need you, whatever they need you to do, you do it. I'm headed up to Chicago actually in 2 weeks for the Wisconsin Notre Dame game. Super excited for that, doing a Big Ten event up there. So if anybody is headed that way, I highly doubt anybody down here is, but if you are, come say hello.
Chicago is a fantastic town, especially during these some of these months here before it gets cold. It is the best summer city in the country, in my opinion. Anything else that you're paying attention to? Baseball this weekend? I know you've had some success here of late.
I was about to sit down after we talked and have a cup of coffee, or a second cup of coffee, and look over some baseball. Baseball, now that we're getting into no one wants my baseball picks these days. It's football. Everyone's like pretty much giving me thumbs down on baseball. Because, I mean, who's going to want to sit there and watch 9 innings of baseball whenever you have football being jammed down your throat? But I'll have some baseball plays out there today. I just haven't looked at them yet.
Megan making money. Hit her on Twitter if you want those baseball plays. She usually pins them every day or posts them every day on her Twitter site at Megan making money. Look out for the new show that launches today. You can find her over at Barstool Sports. You can find her on Twitter, and every week you can hear her right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Great to catch up with you. Have a great weekend. Good luck this weekend on the books, and we'll talk next week.
Thank you. Sounds great. Y'all have a wonderful weekend as well.
Yes, ma'am. There she is, Megan making money, checking in this morning with a couple of plays here on this Thursday going into the NFL season, bro. NFL cranks up tonight.
Nice. If you don't like
little Tommy B and Dak P.
Dak
what?
P.
What? So are you a Cowboy fan?
Yes, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Okay.
Question.
Why?
I don't know if you were a Dak fan or a
Why?
Cowboys fan.
or just because of that.
If Dak
Yeah.
left, I would be a fan of wherever he
That's
went.
what I didn't know if
I've
it
always
was.
liked the Cowboys, for
Right.
some reason. I don't even know really why. I've always
I like
enjoyed
their
watching
uniforms. I know that's
I
not
think
popular.
you're a big silver pants man.
I'm
is
a
what
big
it looks
silver.
Yeah, I
I
like
like
their
this. I like
uniforms,
silver,
too.
but it's more about their headgear. I like their helmets,
Everybody loves the star.
Yeah.
but just the gray background.
Yeah, I've always liked their merch, I guess. But yes, of course, I love them because of Dak.
Who's the best uni in the NFL? Carolina?
I like the Saints, to be honest.
The all
Carolinas
whites?
have great uniforms.
The
too.
all whites?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
like
do.
the all whites. But
The
Saints
all
are
whites
just
for the
very-
Saints are probably
yeah.
they're probably the best. That is very
Like the
biasly
Bengals,
speaking.
Yeah, I like
It
the
is.
Bengals in the uniforms a lot too.
They're okay. It reminds me of somebody else's uni. Whose unis do they look like? They look like
They do
somebody
look
else.
like someone because
They're
always
old ones.
No,
Is
it's
it?
another
No,
team
it's
because
another
I see
team.
it and I'm always
Yes.
like, wait, is
Is
that the Bengals or
me too? Or the Steelers? Maybe the white? No.
is it?
No.
Who is it that
Oh,
I'm
that's
thinking
gonna
of?
bug me.
Is it the Browns? Because they have the same
Maybe
similar
it is
color
the
pattern.
Browns because of the color
Could
pattern.
be the Browns. Could
Yeah?
be the Browns. I like the Chiefs uniforms a lot.
Like the Chiefs. Hate the Jets unis.
Me too. I don't like the Packers either.
I like the Giants. Another silver
Yeah, I
pants.
think we've pinned you here.
Yeah.
I think this is what it is.
silver. You like the silver?
I like the gray pants.
Yeah.
Carolina's got gray pants.
I like Carolina's uniforms.
Carolina, when they have the teal tops and the white bottoms, to me,
They're all
are
blacks
as,
are
as
fire.
fine as you can get. Yeah, they're all blacks are good.
Oh, I thought y'all didn't like all blacks.
That's on a baseball field. It's much different when you're a little
Wow,
turf.
she's
didn't-
been waiting for that
Yeah.
It doesn't look like PJs on the football field, just
Been
on the
waiting.
baseball
PJs.
field.
Been waiting.
PJs.
Oh.
PJs. Lloyd.
Boy, for God's
I'm
sake.
making money over here. I got Katie over here. What's Amanda do?
Thinking about BJs, I
Thinking about
guess. What else?
Greg LeMond said, Coach O. Oh, no, I'm not reading that.
What?
I'm not reading
I
that.
almost stepped in it.
I'm not reading that.
Let's see what old Greg
I'm not reading
said.
that. It's on Twitter anyway.
Okay, I'm like going back to the bunker, like, what did he say?
Brian Fletcher says AFL throwbacks of the Patriots. I agree. The Patriots retro jerseys are the finest in sports. I used to think the Chargers were. I think they're a little overplayed
went
at this
real-
point.
they went real
went
into
too
it.
much into it.
Yeah. But still good looking. You can't get
very
mad at them
much.
for when they were released. They look
Very
good.
very much good looking uniforms.
Can
I think
they-
anytime you go retro, you'll win.
Yes.
Anytime
And then-
you go to the old school, you'll win.
Until you can't. You know,
Right.
then it'll get played
Like
out.
Miami, the Dolphins have great retro uniforms. The helmet logo.
I don't like the Dolphins uniform.
Really?
Candy
Yeah,
ass.
I don't.
Really?
I like
mean,
sissy blue almost.
The teal doesn't play well like in November and December in cold weather. It does look very soft. But their old school logo, their old school jersey, their throwbacks along with the Patriots throwback, in my opinion, are the two
Patriots,
best.
I agree.
The two best.
Can they wear that this year? Did they
I don't
change
think
the
so.
They changed the helmet rule, but it might not go into effect until next year.
Yeah, I think it's two. It was 2 years.
Yeah.
It was two. The Tampa Bay throwbacks, the creamsicles are fine.
No, I don't know what they did. They didn't use them.
They
could've-
couldn't. Remember,
Yeah.
Bruce Arians came out last year and was like, "We want to bring the creamsicles back, but NFL rules prohibit us
Not
from
because
doing
of
that."
the helmet.
Yeah,
That old
because-
school logo is wild.
The best.
The
dude.
best.
Like biting a knife.
Uh-huh.
It's got blood dripping from the knife.
Crazy,
I mean,
man.
it is crazy, bro.
And they were terrible when they were in those things, so that's why they kind of shelved them for a little bit.
Andrew Messina's got a great one. The old school Oilers from the Titans is a fine uniform.
And the sissy blue.
Yeah, it's fine.
Do y'all
like it.
wear a jersey
No, hell
to a
no.
football game?
Never.
I'm so glad y'all said that so
Never.
quickly.
No.
Never.
That makes me happy.
I wouldn't wear Jordan's
feel like-
jersey to a game if he was a starting quarterback.
I feel like I would be a little weirded out. Like I would have it like
Good.
y'all would seem kind of different to me if I just learned that about y'all.
Good, thank you.
That y'all learned it. That I learned that y'all wore a jersey to a football game.
I don't
I
think-
like to call people out that have them on. Like, oh my God, there's Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's a great joke.
Yeah,
it really
right.
is. It plays every time. Like, don't you have a game to play?
Yeah. Are you 50? You know, Joe's 23, right? You know you're wearing
He
a
is-
kid's jersey,
You
huh?
could be his dad.
I mean,
I wish.
yeah, sheesh. All right.
How old have you ever worn a jersey?
Have I ever worn? Yeah, sure, I've worn a jersey. College, I was a big jersey guy.
You
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, I
Were
like,
you?
but I would
No.
wear, I
Never.
would wear
Never.
retros,
Yeah.
and I'd wear basketball jerseys. You know what I mean? Like,
I swear to God, there's something about
a
you that
shirt
like
on
wants to
underneath
be
or
from the
no?
Northeast. Like you want to be like from Boston
It
or
is
just
like that.
like mob ties in the Northeast, and so walking around with a gold chain and a basketball jersey on.
and
Do you
a-
wear
How
a
you
shirt
doing?
under it or
Yeah.
no? Like a t-shirt?
No, no chance.
Um,
No
no,
chance.
no.
Oh my God! Just like the white farmer's tan arm. Just
Italian horse.
How y'all doing?
Yeah.
Smoking a cigarette?
Hey, I'm here to pick up my to-go order.
Yeah, about to meet you around back.
Yeah.
Here to collect.
That's
Got
amazing.
my pastrami.
Extra gabagool.
Yeah, with a gabagool. Oh,
Mike's
sweet.
way.
Little upgrade for the show coming this weekend. Check your text.
Are you gonna tell us about
It's,
that?
it's camera mounts. They don't care about
Oh,
camera mounts.
okay. Yeah, they don't
bro.
care about camera. I do at
Yes,
this point.
we do.
Jeez.
We do.
Boys
Camera
got me looking
camera
like it.
mounts will be on this weekend.
That's exciting.
Trying to think who's gonna hang those suckers.
I'm trying to figure out if I can bring some merch
Joey.
into the game and hand out. At
Not
least
into
koozie.
the
No, I mean,
game.
not into the stadium, but just walking around campus,
Absolutely.
like throwing out some koozies.
Book sack full of
maybe
koozies
some-
and T-shirts.
Yeah, make sure
Yeah.
you
For
want to
sure.
you want to
For
give
sure.
stuff that they'll use and it doesn't end up on the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's a bad look.
That
If
is
you
a
walk
bad
and
look.
you
It
kind
would
of
be
feel
a
bad
bad
about
look.
That is a
yourself.
bad
I would
look.
feel so sad if
That
I
is a
saw
bad
like
look.
one of our shirts on the ground. Who
That's
would
a
do
bad
that?
College kids.
Drunk kids.
Yeah. Like thanks. No thanks.
I mean, who did we hand? We handed gear to somebody yesterday who was sitting right here. Who was it?
Vishal.
Yeah, it
The
was
Vishal?
Vishal.
Yeah, he tried to walk out and leave
He
it.
did.
know
That
what
was
I
an
mean?
accident, though.
Yeah.
We
Try it
also-
again, Vishal, and see what
It
happens.
happens.
Yeah, try it again, Vishal.
All right, everybody, have a good day. Great job on the promo. Great job on the giveaway.
Thanks.
Shout out to Amy Wren. Have we gotten any confirmation from Amy Wren? Does she know that she's won?
No, not yet. It doesn't look like she knows yet, but
Okay.
I'm sure
Did
she will very soon.
Did she leave any contact information or anything
Well,
like
I
that?
mean, her Instagram handle is on our
Okay,
account.
that's what I
so
said. Make
then
way,
I
make
just
way.
DM her.
Yeah, we're good,
Make sure
we're
we
good.
have a way to
What
get
are
in
you,
touch.
like 80?
I don't know. I was setting up an interview yesterday.
Did she leave her pager number?
right?
What did I say? Email?
Just her contact
Okay,
information.
yeah.
Like, I don't know how to get in touch with her.
Sometimes, and I was about to say, yesterday I was setting up an interview, and I was emailing him, and he's like, all right, I'm in. And I was like, okay. And then like 15 minutes later, I was like, oh shit, I should probably ask for his phone number so he could call him. Like, I had to email him later. I was like, can you give me your cell phone number?
You're getting a lot of invites to tailgates right now.
I'm excited.
We need
Y'all,
lo-
thanks.
We need locations. Send locations
Well,
for
I
these
know
tailgates.
Tom's location. He already told me that privately.
Okay, and then Rhett Bourgeois and their crew are having a throwdown.
They are?
Yes.
Brett didn't even tell me about
I'll set you up with it. I'll let you know where it is.
Stephen Miller, top of Victory Hill. I'll take a shirt. Got it, Stephen.
Venmo's open.
I'll come out there and be throwing out merch. I need like a t-shirt shooter type thing.
Make sure and like the post, comment on it, share it if you need to. Share it if you would, please. We appreciate that.
Wait, do we have koozies?
We just got them.
Oh, nice.
They're just now available with the chair logo on.
Wow, Brian
Southern
Burgess.
Marsh.
We have converted Burgess over from his regular programming 7 to 9 a.m. What a win.
Brian.
What a win.
We're so
Did we give him the
excited.
250?
Wow. Yeah, we did give him the 250
Oh,
today.
yeah,
Stop
so,
in and go
yeah,
see Sam
yeah.
there today, Brian. Wow. Will the others be hurt?
And he's at the design building. Brian, I'm going to come see you too.
Such a loyalist to the other guys.
Do you know campus like that, Katie?
We appreciate
I
you
don't,
being here,
but
buddy.
you know, my husband went to LSU, and I go to every LSU game with him, or have in the past. So he knows.
He's going to get roped into this giveaway deal, it seems like.
Oh, he'll be excited.
One more stop, Dave. Let's go, buddy.
He's
But
gonna-
tell me where.
He
Take
will-
me to Victory Hill right now.
He will be wearing his Southern Marsh Jordy Culotta show
All
shirt.
right.
Polo shirt.
Nice.
Speaking of Southern Marsh, we just got our koozies in.
That's
Tons
what
of
I
them.
just said, yeah.
Tons of them.
We have pictures.
That we would be handing out. I guess we have pictures that we can post, but we really
Yeah.
want to put them in your hand.
We
Oh,
really
yeah.
do want to put him in your hand.
How many do we have?
Like
Yeah, a lot.
500
a lot,
maybe?
lot.
Something? That's a lot.
I want to say 1,000.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Um,
I guess I'll be bringing a
yeah.
loaded down backpack.
You better get a duffel bag.
I know.
I did have to put. I went to a wedding, and I forgot to wear pack socks, I should say, and my feet were ripped up. So I put 2 koozies on the bottom of my feet and
What's
used those
pack
as
socks?
socks.
What do you mean? Oh, you forgot to
I
pack
forgot to pack socks.
Okay.
And so
you wore koozies on
Oh,
your
but
feet?
it worked like a
Stop
charm.
it,
I was
Lloyd.
getting ripped. I could feel the blisters coming, and they have they have like weddings. They just have koozies everywhere with the names on them. I was like, let me snag 2 of these things.
See
And
what happens.
walked outside, put them on my little feet, and it worked like a charm. So multi-purpose, if you start to get, for the fraternity boys out there,
Yeah.
if you think you're slick not wearing socks in that hot weather,
Ugh,
slide them
gross.
things on your
That-
feet, you'll be good.
That is so weird.
Swampy feet
The,
on game day
It is
could be the
Uh-uh.
worst. I mean, ugh. No
know?
socks freak me out.
I don't like
No
feet,
socks
anything
freak me
about
out.
feet.
I don't like to see the socks though. I don't want
That's
to see.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as there's some type of
need
protection
'em.
under there.
Yeah.
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 The no sock look freaks me
Well,
the F out.
You're,
I mean,
you're
like,
torturing
just-
yourself.
or the people around you when you take your shoes off. I mean, if I take the trash out with no socks on and I come back and take my shoes off, I've got to, fumigate the room.
Wait, are you really?
Yes, just in South Louisiana.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Maybe it's the Italian blood. I don't know.
Red's hot.
But I mean, bro, the no sock feel. How does that comfortable for anybody?
I think
not.
How do you do anything active?
I agree, because those shoes, if you go no socks and shoes and you do that like habitually with the same pair of shoes, they're ruined. Like you said, you
Yes.
can't pop those suckers
Absolutely.
off
Yeah.
ever.
No, you can't.
And then people are like, "What was that?" And you're just like, "Oh, fuck, that's my feet."
Yeah,
Like,
no,
that's
no.
definitely my shoes.
And G is saying it's
Right.
called no show socks. I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
we're in. We're
I'm wearing them
all
right
in
now.
on the no shows.
Yes.
I'm all in on the no show, and that's fine. But the people that take off their shoes and there's no sock underneath
Right.
Wow.
that, I mean, is an alien.
Do you think I have socks
I mean,
on?
serial killer.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you just gave me your thoughts on feet and socks.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Uh,
I do. They're
But
no-show.
I mean, it does.
It does
It
look
would be
like I
curious.
don't.
It would be
They're very
curious.
no-show, yeah.
Like I wonder if she's pulling off the no sock. She going
Dude
no
under
show.
there.
Yeah,
No,
right.
Go
you don't
commando
know
on
for
the
sure.
feet.
Yeah, right.
And they've
Okay.
yeah,
There you
they
go.
have elevated the
It's a
no-show sock
Right.
to where it
I
used
mean-
to be like the crew ankle.
Yeah. Right.
We got the same vibe.
So the no-show has gone like farther and farther down.
It has. That's
It's
what mine are.
Yeah, to where it's like a
bare-
little,
just kinda-
little foot condom that you slip
It
on.
is like that.
Because it used to be, even the ankle socks now are too high. Like,
Yeah. They
are.
like you can't wear them with
Absolutely.
shoes. You
Yeah.
don't want to see them.
Anything
No.
that touches the ankle, I'm out on.
Oh
I'm out.
God!
I'm out on it.
David will
Yeah.
show up and like have a shoe on,
Oh,
and the
God.
sock will come up. And I'm like, oh God!
Hey,
they changed
nerd,
me.
turn around.
I rail him.
Before
I'm
you
like,
get
what are
divorced,
doing?
bro.
Or he like shows up somewhere, and I'm like, oh my
my
God!
God.
You did not wear.
I'm about to serve you with these papers. Go change your socks right now. Do you want to get divorced?
It is like that.
Do you want to get divorced?
The worst look,
Poor
man, is
David.
the khaki shorts with the
Oh.
socks just a
Loafers.
little too high, and the tennis shoes, and you're
And the
just like,
oversized polo?
you're just like,
Nothing screams Baton Rouge 20-year-old like that,
more
bro.
than that.
You know
I
what
don't want to
mean?
have a conversation.
I mean,
with you.
just floppy hair, oversized shirt,
Sweaty a
ankle
little,
socks, and long
just
khakis.
disheveled.
You
Ugh.
nerd, bro.
God.
And who am I to give any type
know.
of fashion advice? But I know that ain't it. That ain't the
It
look.
is not.
Get this guy some gear, bro. I mean, throw him some athletic shorts and a hoodie.
I would rather you wear a jersey at this point.
Okay, so wait. If the socks that you have available to you are up touching your ankle,
Not wearing.
then
Not
you are going to
wearing.
wear a shoe with no socks. Is that the time?
It is a
that
great
you
debate.
do?
It's a great debate. I'd probably roll the sock to see if I couldn't get some run out of
Yeah.
it, but once it became so uncomfortable, I'd probably leave.
Yeah, that would be exactly
You know
what
what I
you
mean?
You just
I'd
wouldn't
probably
go. Like, I don't have socks.
Irish goodbye. Anybody seen Jordy?
Said something about
I
his
think he's been
socks.
gone for like 45 minutes, bro.
Catch you right foot around
Said
and
something about his
sock
feet.
was
Just
up around his
yeah,
ankle.
right. He took his shoe off, and everybody just started dog cussing him. So he just cut out of here.
Jordy's in the master bedroom looking for no-show socks. Don't mind me. What are you doing in here?
Cutting someone's socks.
Yeah.
What size shoe are you?
I won't stretch it out. Don't worry.
Even though pants. Now, if I'm wearing pants, I like the calf sock.
How high do you go
Okay.
up on the sock?
I'd like to get to at least mid to upper calf and have it stick. If it starts to slide, it's like having a sock on that shows with shorts,
I agree.
right? Like
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
which
yeah.
more.
It
What
is.
is more uncomfortable, an ankle sock or long socks under dress pants that bug you all night by falling? I mean,
I can't contribute to that. I don't know.
Moscona was pimping some sock. What was it called? Dead Soxy Dead,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Those things are
They got the grip.
legit. Like they will stick all day, upper calf, no slide. You never have to give the when you sit down, pull the pants
back
up,
up.
pull them back up type deal. So to me, as clutch as a no-show sock is a sock that sticks calf high when you wear dress pants, because the no-show socks on the dress pant kind of spell you out as a slap dick. You know what I mean? If you can ever because I used to try to pull it off all the time, and then you just kind of give a sit
Yeah.
right here. Next thing you know, I'm flashing ankles.
Too much ankle.
You know what I mean? And people are like, this guy's not for real.
But that
He's not in it.
that
He's
is-
not checked in.
There is the new style, but you got to be very hip to where you can go like tight pant, no sock, loafer, and you have
Yeah.
like a little like the ankle showing.
I
on
love
purpose.
that. I
but
like
you got
to
to be
see-
real into the fashion
I like
game.
to
Yeah.
see
I'm not
the
trying to make that
man's
sort of
ankle
statement.
in
Wow.
a pant.
Really?
I like a pant that's like a
Okay.
little bit above the ankle.
Okay.
And I see your ankle in your
Yeah,
the
then they have to
no-show
be like
sock on.
baller shoes.
They do have to be
Yeah,
ballers.
you can't be half cocked going to that thing with. But the thing with the other like the no-show socks, if they fall off your heel consistently,
The worst.
It is the worst.
It's
'cause
the
you're,
worst.
You're digging in there all day.
all day.
worst.
Well, and it's all jammed up right here.
Right,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
midfoot.
Next thing you know, you got blisters. You know, you're not comfortable. I can't run. I can't really move in this.
You're sweating and you're tailgating.
Yes.
You're bending over like it's my socks. I'm all
Damn
like,
it.
"Yo,
You
it's
gotta
socks."
get the ones
I
that
screwed
have
the
the little
sock up.
grip on
Yeah,
the
they
back
have-
of the
that's
heel.
what I have.
Yeah.
That's what I have too. Brian Burgess is probably like, Jesus, I'm going back to the other show. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
See, I'm a big pants on game day guy. 'Cause
Really?
I don't like to wear. Well, I think we talked about this before, but I just don't like the shorts look.
I know.
really.
I've only
Even
seen your
September.
legs like one
yeah,
time.
like I just don't.
Even early September.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
just-
gonna be hot as balls out there on
And
Saturday,
I know,
bro.
but you just once you get, you're already gonna be hot. Like
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm wearing pants.
Yeah.
It's just like, woof, sweating a little bit more.
and
but
pants,
Yeah.
pantsy. I mean, the,
Just
the
looks better.
athletic dress pant is clutch
Yes.
Yeah.
these days. I mean,
Yeah.
like you can almost get away with something like this
Yeah.
now.
Like
you know
the
what I mean?
Lulu
Like, I
ABC
mean,
A little light, breathable.
yeah,
and
very
nobody's really
light.
looking.
Nobody's
That
really
looks like
paying
pants.
that much attention.
Little
You know what I mean?
boots?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to hang out with you anyway,
Yeah.
you nerd. You know what I mean? Let me see your
pull
socks.
Pull your socks up.
Ah, yeah, ankle socks, just like I thought.
That's what I thought.
Fucking dork.
You tie your shoes too, I bet.
Yeah, right. All right, great show. Appreciate
guess.
everybody for interacting with us today. Megan Making Money was here. We talked to Josh Pate from 247's Sports, and we talked to J-Boy. Katie gave away the giveaway. It was fantastic. Shout out to Amy Wren. Great job on that, Kate.
Thank you.
We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Who are we talking to tomorrow morning?
Seth Galena. He's going
yes.
to give us a nice breakdown. He does a lot of X's and O's, so he'll be able to, instead of us yelling at what we thought we saw, he'll be able to tell you schematically exactly what happened in terms of looking at defenses and looking at offenses and what formations and stuff like that. It'll be probably a little, might be too inside football, but I've got a feeling he does a great podcast, Too High Podcast, where he was able to break it down.
Too High?
Yeah, it's a great name.
That is a great name.
He's Canadian, so I think it's okay up there. Maybe.
Hey, guy.
Hey,
Okay, guy.
I'm not your guy,
is
pal.
that a marijuana reference?
Is that you roll your own cigarettes up there? Okay, let's go get some poutine, a little French fries and gravy for you
You
fellas.
Joker smoking in here, eh?
Yeah, okay. Oh, don't shake my left hand now. But he'll be able to break down football.
What?
Left-handed cigarette.
No.
We got you, bro. Keep going.
But he'll be able to break down what we saw and what we hated on the LSU offensive and defensive side.
Ugh,
So
gross.
it should give you a good inside look, and he'll be able to tell you what they should do to, help protect and stuff like that. It'll be good stuff.
Why can't you smoke a cigarette with your right hand?
Well, that's what they call
They call
marijuana
joints.
cigarettes or left-handed
They call
cigarettes.
joints left-handed cigarettes. I think
really?
in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that
I didn't
Europe?
even
Is that a
know that.
European phrase?
Yeah,
Weird.
that's the F
Wow,
word.
you didn't?
I did not. I literally thought you meant you smoke like cigarettes.
Sheesh.
Oh.
Students teach the professor today,
I
huh?
don't know anything about drugs.
Kids teaching the class today.
Get out the way, give that chalk. Oh, Burrow died today. Joe Burrow, the
God.
the giraffe.
Jesus
Floyd,
Christ,
you
bro.
can't just say that.
I mean, it's the opening day of the NFL season, dude.
He's gonna play on Sunday.
The Golden Boy.
hell is
You talking
wrong
about the
with you?
giraffe
The
at Baton Rouge
giraffe,
Zoo?
He didn't even make it a year, man.
Jeez.
When it rains, it pours.
What the hell is going on down here, man?
In the water.
God.
Would you take the Joe Burrow year for the misery
For
it
the
looks
dead-
like you're entering?
For the dead giraffe?
For the dead giraffe and the
I mean, I'd kill 10 giraffes.
what is
boy,
LSU?
no.
5 and
Don't
6?
5 and 6. Yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever it happened, I remember watching it, being there in the stadium, and go, I'm good.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
I'll take this. Like,
Yeah.
if it doesn't happen for another 5 years, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
But then when it looks like this, you're like, never mind. I sold my soul to the devil
am
for
I
1
looking
year.
at, man?
Yeah, what is this?
You Burrow back.
I think LSU might turn it around.
Oh, Katie, thank you for trolling us.
I really do.
Patrick Kimry, undershirt or no undershirt? I'm a no undershirt guy. If I go undershirt, I'm wearing a wife beater.
That's a Louisiana thing. No undershirt.
no
No
undershirt.
undershirt. for
Mississippi wears
Nothing freaks me
undershirts.
out more than 2 t-shirts.
And Mississippi does
The-
that
The
too.
2 t-shirt look. How do you do
Suffocating.
that? How?
And I think it's a lot of people, maybe
Just
for
a
the
look.
sweat. You have like
sweat?
it's
Like
like
a
a condom,
barrier.
so it doesn't get
Yeah,
underneath
but I
your.
mean, wouldn't the undershirt become like a towel?
That's right. Yeah,
but
it
it would,
just
like,
holds
keep
your.
your-
But then
outer
this,
shirt.
then the outer one is just like drenched to it.
I don't. It's
Two t-shirts freak me out.
a lot of people I've
It's
seen
just a look.
is they go compression shirt underneath.
I've seen the compression
and
shirt.
but then the collar looks so bad.
You look like you're getting choked.
You look like you're about to go work out after
Right.
this. Like, are you gonna pop that thing off and hit the gym?
Right, and the compression shirt is not always as friendly on the body as they claim to be. I mean, it
Rolls
usually kind of
up.
squeezes
Yeah,
thing into the
it's like a boudin
the
casing.
places. Like it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not just going to erase it. Like, whoa, look at the back fat on that guy. Like, Jesus.
This
Well,
one's
the shirt's
just-
supposed to hold that in.
I
It's
mean,
all
yeah,
sweaty
but
on the
it's gotta be formed to
Well, it
some
kind of just goes
spot.
into your body.
There's a
It's
reason.
like Spanx for
There's a
men.
reason the Under Armour model looks that way when he puts that shirt on. He
Yeah, but
doesn't-
isn't the Spanx is more down here?
Well, it could be everywhere.
I think you pull them up
Spanx
to your
make-
belly button.
You can.
Right?
Yeah, you
Spanx
hold
makes all
that,
kinds
hold,
of things
Hold
now.
that thing in.
But I think
God, I
you
hate
could
Spanx.
really hide some stuff down here.
Yeah.
In Spanx?
Yes.
You can like tuck,
Up here.
You can tuck in.
You know what I mean? Like if I was to shed that top shirt and I'm sitting in the Spank, bro. You know what I mean? I mean,
No
I'm like,
one wants to see that. No one wants to see your
could you
Spanx.
pass the salt? Like, nah, bro, we ain't messing with you, you weirdo. I mean, you got,
You just wore that?
yeah. I mean, are you gonna wear that?
Show
Did you wear that out of your house?
To the tailgate in just the compression shirt and be like,
The LSU compression shirt, bro. But the Toonces tiger, you know, like just like the soft-headed tiger, like right there, like, hey fellas, pass me a beer. Like, what the fuck is this guy? Who is this guy in the ankle socks and the compression shirt?
just get cut?
You're right.
I went to
Are
the
you
bathroom.
from here?
I went to the bathroom at Achilles last year and took my Spanx off out from under my dress.
Wow.
Threw them away.
Oh, somebody
Threw
got
them
him.
away in
Yeah.
the garbage can.
Where was it? What's the address?
like
of it?
Something's been going on in here.
Janitor. Oh, hell yeah.
Hell, man, what they have here last
The
night?
biggest panties
Some
I've ever
Mardi Gras
seen.
ball.
The loopers.
Check this shit out. It says here on the tag, Allagood.
Return to
Kate Allagood.
She probably doesn't have her name in the tag.
I labeled my Spanx. I don't know. Do I? Y'all probably gone through my underwear drawer.
Not me, though.
Not
Maybe they
you,
said
not you.
That one
Everyone
on.
else here except Jordy.
Noah.
I just know it's see you, Noah.
Noah's probably wearing Spanx to class today.
I just know what's in the safe.
That's right. I've been there. I've been there.
Y'all know way too much.
Have a great day. Jesus, we're saying too much. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
These mics on.